Hey, before we get going today, I wanted to give you a heads up. Before you know it, Halloween's going to be here, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's. And then we're going to have to worry about, how do I pay for all this holiday spending? Let's go ahead and make a New Year's resolutions list. And let me go ahead and guess. Last year and every year before that, 2 of your resolutions were pay some debt off, save some money. I can help you do both of those. Check both of the boxes at savewithconrad.com. And how's this for starters? No house payments until next year. I mean, let's face it, your single biggest bill, that's your house payment. Well, if you got to pocket that cash for both November and December, wouldn't that make the holiday season just a whole heck of a lot easier? Of course it would. And let me also talk to you if you've got credit card debt. Man, you know you can do better than that. What's your rate on that credit card right now? 28%, 31%? You know those interest rates are too high, and you know you can do better. Not only that, did you know that the interest you pay on those credit cards is not only sky high, it's also not tax deductible, whereas the interest you pay on your mortgage is tax deductible. So if you could get a better rate, a greater tax deduction, skip your next 2 house payments, and come next year, a lower monthly payment, what are you waiting for? We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. But how much can you save? It's free to find out right now at savewithconrad.com. And I want to give you a heads up, we're not a bank or a credit union. We're not going to say no and treat you like a number and show you the door. We're going to say not yet, but here's how. You need a plan. You need a friend in the mortgage business. And that's me. Let my family help your family at savewithconrad.com. It's no cost, no obligation. And if we can't save you some cash, we won't waste your time. Get a quick quote. You'll be glad you did. SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Conrad, I'm doing great. I'd like to say happy Halloween to everyone because, as you know, it's coming up this week, which has, I guess, in the modern era, and this, I don't know how it was when you were growing up, and I know that you had dressed up as various wrestlers at Halloween, but Halloween was big, but not like it is now.
You think it's bigger now?
Oh, people just completely decorate their yards now, unlike I've ever seen. Our next door neighbor does a fantastic job with the graveyard and the lights and the sound. And they've got this big, it has to be every bit of 8, 9 feet tall that if you walk by it will laugh at you, right? With this maniacal laugh. So I guess maybe it's because I grew up in a small town, but it's amazing the decorations that go on, and there's stores now that open up just for Halloween costumes and everything. So it's a big time. I know it's a big time for everybody. Happy Halloween. And we hope you are very safe and hope your family's very safe, especially your young kids.
Hey, so let me ask you, just a little neighborhood chatter here.
I love
When
neighborhood
you got a neighbor who's sort of, going the extra mile, like it sounds like your neighbor is, and he's got these large inflatables and motion and all that. How do you compete? Do you just send Lois out to the front yard and let her yell at traffic?
Pretty much. She's the wicked witch of the neighborhood. So she used to, years ago when the kids were younger, I think I've told you this many times, would dress up in the foyer and put all the treats out on a table and dress up as a witch and put on a crooked nose and a hat and a gray wig and just laugh and cackle at the kids. And it was a big deal in the neighborhood for a long, long time. And then she, the kids grew and things changed, and she stopped doing that. But last year I encouraged her, come on and be the witch one more time. I said, we got a whole different generation of kids. They want to see the witch one more time. And she said, well, I don't know if that's really right. So I convinced her to do it. And I think I got a picture I'll send to Dave Silva.
Oh,
actually of both of us, me and Lois. And the sad part of the picture is Bug is there with us. But it was last year Halloween. It was really cold here. But be that as it may, happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you're safe.
What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid? When you think back to when you were trick-or-treating back in black and white.
Yeah.
What was your favorite costume?
Well, back then, your costumes basically consisted of a mask, right? That you put over your head or on your face, and it had a rubber band around the back. They didn't have the high tech costumes they have now. I mean, you can dress up as a Spider-Man, the complete suit and everything. It depends on how much money you want to spend. And I remember my favorite one back in the day was Superman. I dressed up as Superman one year, and that was pretty cool. I think that's the one I remember most of all. But we also did, and I'd like some feedback on this. We did water balloons and egg battles
Wow.
during Halloween. We had a very small town. We would go all over and have teams and throw eggs at each other, water balloons at each other. That was the big deal to do. So that was pretty cool.
When you were doing water balloons, were those the balloons that looked like they had like hand grenade print on it? Or is that something that happened after you?
That happened after me, just regular old balloons and water.
Yeah.
That was after me.
You ever do it with condoms?
No, back then I probably didn't
Just-
even know what a condom was back then.
Just bareback Jones. That was
Yeah.
that was your deal. Everybody knew that.
No, I don't think it was Bareback Jones, but
Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of bareback, I think we've got a picture of your Wicked Witch of Marietta.
okay. That's it. That's the one from last year. There
That's
she was.
awesome. What a great picture. Look
Yeah.
at Bug, man. What a great photo.
Yeah, he was. Oh, it was really cold that day, and so that was 2023. Well, I've got a picture of the Wicked Witch from 2022. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll send that to our favorite Mexican right now.
Dude, I got to tell you, it was a hell of a choice to put the glasses on the outside of the Batman mask.
Yeah, isn't
Like,
that something?
I mean, that's a hell of a choice. I can get behind that. It's like,
Right.
hey, I'm here to kick your ass, but I need my spectacles.
I need to see where you are first. I'm just seeing a blur. There you are, Fing, with the batarang.
I mean,
That
dude,
would
it
be-
looks like somebody, you look like the Batman who's somebody moved their stapler. That's what that is. Batman Milton.
Batman Milton. God, it was cold last year.
It's a lot
And-
warmer this year. How about that?
Yeah, I know. So the shirt that Lois is wearing right there says, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too." That's of course, from Wizard of Oz, and that's the Wicked Witch, And so I just sent that to Dave, and that was last year, and she dressed up actually 2 years ago for the first time ever, and so we have a really really cool neighborhood. We do,
Yeah.
and that means a lot of kids and a lot of good parents. And I went out last year with a cooler and beer for the adults. Kids get the candy, guys come by, Dad, you want a beer? Yeah. And we only gave away like 5 or 6 of them. So,
Hang on though. What if the kid was like a badass?
and
Like he
one
was
of the beer.
underage, but you could tell he was a
Yeah.
badass. He could
Right.
handle it. Would you
Yeah.
sneak him one?
Yeah. And also, I have Lois rolling my joint.
Why not? Shit, make him feel at home. Hey, we hope you guys are. Oh, look at there.
Yeah, there she is. That's 2022. That's 2 Halloweens ago. There you
And
go.
that's the Schiavone homestead in the background. And you can
Yeah,
even
sure
see
is.
the Range Rover peeking out. You can't hide money, Tony. You can't
Yeah.
hide money.
Oh, yeah, you can. And you also can. And of course, yeah, we've been in this house 34 years. How about that?
Well, we're glad that you guys are in our house tonight. Thanks for joining us for a very special edition of What Happened When, live immediately following Monday Night Raw. If you missed your chance, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. It's patreon.com/WHW Monday. I think people are really digging the idea of us doing a little late night action. Tony, this is our third one in a row. How are you feeling about this switch?
I love it. I feel much better than I do in the mornings because, I'm just kind of a old, miserable guy in the mornings and at times. And I hurt a lot of times when I get out of bed. It's my age. So this is good. This is good. It's I've often said that this kind of 10 o'clock Eastern time, this is when we're doing wrestling usually, or I'm finishing up on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, maybe finishing up a Rampage or driving back to a hotel or in backstage. So this is this is my working type time. So I think I'm more alert. I think it's a good time for me. And you know what? We're after Raw. I'm not Raw. I'm just undercooked. How about that?
You're medium rare. I like it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, hey, we've always known you were rare, Tony, and we're excited that you're going to be with us tonight because we're going to be watching another episode of Prime Time. It was Tony's year-long excursion north
Ah, boy,
We
was it
want you to
ever?
watch along with us.
Yeah.
It went down. I can't believe this is real, but as you're listening to this, 35 years ago, October 30th, 1989. And if you cruise on over to the Peacock Network, look up season 5, episode 44 of Primetime Wrestling. That's season 5, episode 44 of Primetime Wrestling. 1989, man. On the one hand, it feels like 100 years ago. And on the other hand, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago at all, does it?
Yeah, I when I think about this, I think about the kids and how old they were. Matt was the oldest; he was 6. Laurie was 4, and Chris was 2. And I believe the twins were like Chris was almost 3, I guess, and the twins were like 18 months. So it was a lot of young kids at the house. Times have changed in wrestling. Times have changed in the Schiavone household and the Schiavone family. Like I know it changed for you. What in '89? What were you doing Halloween? Do you remember?
I don't know in 1989 what my costume was. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look and see if mom has some old picture albums or something. I think 1990, perhaps 91 were the Nasty Boys.
Right.
But I have no idea what 89 was.
Yeah.
It wasn't wrestling related for sure. Have you gone as a wrestler before? Have you worn a wrestler costume?
No. No, I
If you
didn't.
were going to, though, who would it be?
You mean current day wrestler?
Just any wrestler of all time. You're going to dress up like a pro wrestler. Who would you
Well,
dress up?
I think the most recognizable one would be Hogan, wouldn't it? With the blonde
Yeah.
mustache and blonde hair and the headband and the red and the yellow. I think that probably would be.
I think you'd be a great Iron Sheik. Just cursing at people.
Right.
I think that'd be great.
What the fuck to Conrad Thompson? How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Getting a little aggressive.
Well, that's when I think about the Iron Sheik now, that's what I think about. I don't think about the crazy stuff he did on TV or the outtakes, but I just because he was doing some, as you know, some crazy things. And especially he was so crazy on social media, wasn't he? Right, in his last couple of years. So that's what when I think about him.
Hey, let's see if we can't get you in trouble with 411fucksheet.com. Do you think that as folks are listening to this, do you think tonight on Friday Night Dynamite, you're going to be wearing a Halloween costume?
No,
Are you going to wear one tomorrow on actual Halloween, Tony?
N- uh, well, I thought maybe putting the Batman cowl on again, but that's kind of old. I thought about going to Party City or thought about going to the Halloween store that they have opened up and getting something. But, here's another thing that's changed so much in Halloween. Halloween is not necessarily a after dark event anymore.
Right.
They get out early. Kids get out early with their parents and they come during daylight and everything. And it used to be, you could dress up and scare kids or do whatever it is. Halloween, it was kind of a, mysterious looking night. It's changed a great deal. So if I invest in a Halloween costume, I'm going to invest in a Halloween costume I'm going to wear at most 2 hours. But I can tell you that I'm a big fan and always was. I don't like the new genre horror movies. I don't like I don't like slashers and blood and guts and mass murders and stuff like that. But I do like the old time horror movies from the 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. The original Frankenstein movie, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Werewolf or The Wolfman, The Wolfman meets Frankenstein, um, Blood of Frankenstein, all those movies. I purchased many of those movies on Apple TV, and I love those old black and white horror movies. I love them, and that used to be always a part of Halloween for me, going back and going in and watching them because they were always on TV late at night. And then, of course, they had the VHSs, and now you can stream everything. So I loved all that stuff. Bela Lugosi, obviously. Um,
We got a good suggestion here. Rob Hewitt's with us live, and he says Tony would make a great Taz. What do you think about that? Do you think you could wear orange and put a black towel over your head, maybe draw a little railroad track on your knee?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a great idea, but it would probably get back to him, and then I would suffer the next TV.
That's a fair point.
Hey, can I say I really miss Taz? Honestly,
Everybody does.
I really, really miss Taz. He was so much fun to work with. We had such a great time with him up there, and he made it fun. And I can't wait till he gets back. Not that, listen, I thought Jeff Jarrett did a great job for us. I thought Matt Menard did a great job, but man, do I miss Taz. So get well soon, Taz.
John Hamilton's with us here live, and he's got an idea for a Halloween costume. He says, I would be Flair so I could finally have a big dong.
Yeah, that would probably work if you would go that far. Just take a roll of bologna and strap it to your crotch or something like that. Or take a pepperoni. A real, before they cut it, pepperoni, or take a salami, zucchini, something like that.
You're more prosciutto, aren't you? Just sort of.
No, I'm more
flapping around the wind.
I'm more gabagool.
Okay. James Elkerai says, have you ever seen a great Tony Schiavone costume?
No.
Well, let me tell you what it might look like.
Mm-hmm.
It might look like something from our friends at True Classic. They got the best-selling t-shirts, hoodies, jeans, and more now in 3, 6, and even 9 packs. We're talking truly premium products at an absolutely affordable price. These are shirts that define your best features with a perfect fit. Snug in the arms and chest with just the right amount of room in the midsection. And they've got all your fall and winter must-haves like your long-sleeve Henleys, your waffle hoodies, your jeans, your button-ups, your joggers, and more. You can even plan on some moisture-wicking, quick-dry odor control for all of their active wear. You can now mix and match, so you can get the clothing that works for your lifestyle. Maybe one of the best parts about True Classic, though, is they have a 100% perfect fit guarantee and easy returns. By now, they've got over 4 million customers and over 200,000 reviews. True Classic's ultra-comfortable, perfect-fitting essentials make for the perfect gift for the men in your life. The holidays are here, and True Classic's ultra-comfortable, perfect-fitting essentials make for the perfect gift for you and the men in your life. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now and unlock big savings during their huge holiday sale. Just go to my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/WHW to save. That's trueclassic.com/WHW. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And end the year with holiday cheer, thanks to our friends at True Classic. And how about right now, Tony? We've got a special surprise that you had no idea about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Sean Mooney.
Hey, guys. Been a minute. How are you?
Sean Mooney. Sean freaking Mooney. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. You guys look fabulous too, by the way, and I have been keeping up. So
yeah.
This is a surprise that I could possibly still look this good at 65. I know you're just blown away.
I was thinking the same thing because I know you're an old fucker, so I knew.
I am an old. Yeah. We're up there. It's hard to believe.
What's your take on horror movies? We've been talking about that, Sean.
Oh, I hate them.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid, I don't like the shock scare stuff,
Right.
And I don't know what happened to me as a child, but
right.
And my kids love them. They have tried to get me to go to them over the years. My wife loves them. I'm like, nope.
No.
I'm not one of those people. Some people love them. I'll take a comedy any day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree, but I was talking about that back in the day, and of course you and I are close to the same age. So back in the day, and these were movies that were made long before we were born, but like the old Dracula movies, the old Frankenstein movies, the old Mummy, the Boris Karloff, all those movies I loved.
Yeah. I remember when the local stations, they had the local guy who was maybe a weatherman or something, but on the weekend he'd dress up.
Right.
And we had a guy, honest to God, lived up the street from me. And it was the K-Gun station out here. And they called him Dr. Scar. And he lived on our street.
Right.
And he would host everybody did the stupid movies, the Blob or whatever was on.
Right.
And we were scared to death of the guy. And he lived it up. He loved to, and he was like a sales manager guy or something. But he was Dr. Scar. So maybe that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what did it to me.
That could have been it because we had at a Richmond station, Richmond, Virginia station was called Shock Theater with Bowman Body. And the guy would come out of a casket with his face painted all white and intro these terrible movies. And he would stand up and do commercials right there on with 1 foot up on the casket, you know, and he would talk about watermelons are now at sale at Food Lion. And here, hand me a watermelon. And it was, and now
those are great days when the local markets, they had, everybody had these local personalities. We had also Marshall K. Gunn, and he was the guy that would go around with the van, you know, probably spent some time in prison after that because
probably so.
He wasn't supposed to be near the kids, but he did some great balloon shapes.
I bet he did.
You know, but those were the days, man. That's when they'd have the stupid game shows, you know. But
yeah, times have changed, my man. Times have changed, and
they sure have. They sure have.
I don't want to sound like an old man shouting at clouds, but as our Conrad and Dave Silva know, I usually do.
Yeah,
I'm not
I like to go out
sure
the front lawn, and anybody driving by just yell at them. Some days, you know, crazy bastard Mooney out there.
Yeah, Lois does that.
Yeah,
she does. Did I tell you the story, Conrad? The guy that ran the stop sign right in front of our house?
No, I don't know this.
He ran up the stop sign, he ran real fast, and then he just paused. And we're right in front of the stop sign, and this is exactly what she did. Point her finger at him. She said, "Slow the fuck down and stop at a goddamn stop sign." Slowly. She repeated herself and going, "Oh my God."
Yeah. As he went for the 45 under the front seat. I don't do any, you know, somebody's going to have to ram me before I get out. I mean, I am not like, okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, fine. Cut me off right there. No problem. Locked up at 60. I'm staying.
That's a crazy time. It is. Well, hey, buddy, it's good to have you with us. This is a shock. You and I
I'm between newscasts, you know.
Are you really?
Yeah.
When's your next newscast?
10 our time.
10 your time.
He's gonna go get ready for the news in a few minutes. But I thought, hey, if we're watching Prime Time from your year-long excursion north, Tony, we might as well bring back an old friend, and who better than Mr. Sean Mooney?
Yeah, Sean, we had
there's nothing going on in the news anyway, right?
No,
nothing.
Nothing at all.
No. Yeah, it's nothing but bad news.
Yeah,
and it's about terrible people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you know, we had a lot of fun doing our bits at Prime Time or Coliseum videos, didn't we? Back
my God,
what a crew we had!
Yeah, and people don't really understand what we had back then because they don't realize how small the company was.
Right,
and Tony, you remember this when you went to Stanford? It was Camelot. Yeah, and everybody knew everybody. You knew everybody in sales. You know, Basil DeVito and all these people. Everybody that was the front office. Right. You'd see them at the parties, and they would have these functions. And I used to say it was kind of like you're on the A or the B list.
Right.
And if you're on the A list, like you had to go to everything. I mean, it was cool at first, but then when they're having, Vince is having something at Pat's house, and you're like, shit, I wanted to go to the fucking movies, and you'd have to go. I mean, that's what it was like back then.
Right.
But on as far as what we did, we got away with frickin' murder. I mean, we Alfred and I in the bits for Coliseum home video.
Yeah.
I've told the stories many times where when we started doing those Coliseum home videos, they didn't know what the hell they wanted to do with them. And it was kind of like, get Alfred and Sean to do them because they're at the studio all the time.
Right.
And we would go into that giant prop closet. Remember, it had the gigantic green doors of the studio, and we'd just go wander around and like, oh yeah, there's some tugboat something did last week. All right. I'll be the swabby. Here, put this on, Alfred. And we just went out and winged it.
Right.
Until Vince found out what we were doing. It was like, what the hell are they doing? And then they ended up doing it anyway. Later on, it was like we were brilliant, but he was shutting us down. But
we were ahead of our
some
time.
Fun. Yes, we did. Tony, you and I had. I wish we would have. I wish you were there longer because we would have had a freaking blast.
Yeah.
And I told you that when we were at StarCast, and I said, God damn, I wish that you and I got to spend more time together because you have great comedic timing, and I'm an awesome straight man. I mean, ask any of them, Bobby and Gene. So I wish we would have done more, but we did have some fun.
I can remember you were talking about we knew everybody's names. I remember Kevin Graniff very, very well.
Yeah,
remember there was a guy a guy in accounting named Benny Morales.
Oh yeah,
Remember Benny? And we knew it was just, and I say so many times, it was my greatest year in wrestling because I learned so much that one year about production, about how to produce a show, being a producer in an edit suite. Learned about, I just, and I came from a very small mom and pop's operation. So I did learn a lot, made a lot of friends. And of course, God bless him. I didn't know Alfred had passed away until many years later when Tommy Carlucci had told me that he had passed away. And that kind of broke my heart. Did you know he had passed away? Did you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I haven't told this story many times, but when I had first come out to Arizona, and I kept in touch with Alfred, and you remember everything was going on then when everybody was leaving, and they had asked Alfred to, everybody was taking pay cuts.
Yeah.
And Alfred being the kind of person he was, all this principled and all this, and he ended up leaving and he went to Dallas to be with his kids.
Right. Candy
lived down there. And it wasn't too much longer after that, he, started getting ill, and I had a friend of his who was kind of taking care of him called me, and he said, "Did you know Alfred?" Because I'd done a radio show out here, and I got Alfred on a few times, and I would call him, But this guy called me and he said, Alfred's in bad shape. He's in the hospital, and they took his foot. They hit because he had, the circulation of all the parts that had been, fused back together.
All right.
And so I got on a plane and I flew to Dallas. I don't know whatever the reason was, but something told me go. Yeah. And my wife at the time thought I was out of my freaking mind, but I did it. And I went down there, and I didn't know how to find him. I just knew the hospital, and went there, and I went to the desk, and they told me that he was in this room, whatever, 312 or whatever. So I'm going up and down the hallways of this place, and I look in this room, and it's like 312. It's supposed to be him. It's one person in there. And I'm like, that's not him. And I just went down like that and went back and went to the thing. I said, no, I'm looking for Alfred Hayes. And they said, that's his room. And I go in there, and they had shaved his head. He had, shrank. I don't know how much he weighed at the time. And he was like napping and woke up, and he couldn't believe that I was there. But I spent the day there, and like we went out, and Alfred, is such a proud person.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain it. I know he was glad I went there, but at the same time, he did not ever want me to see him like that.
Of course. But
to me, it just meant everything. And we laughed and talked, the times and everything. And then, so I said, the guy was taking care of him. Anyway, I said, get him to call me once in a while, because he won't answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I don't know how much longer. It wasn't much longer after, and he passed away. Mm-hmm. And I cherished that. I don't know why, whatever, because, I had newborn and everything. It was just, like, you got to go. And I went, and to this day, I'm so glad, because I couldn't go back for the funeral, but the fact that I got to see him, but I know it was tough for him because he was such a proud bastard, he didn't want anyone to see him like that. And it was, anyway, but I don't think I've told that story before. It just, I had been thinking about that lately, because I've talked to his son, Kirsten, because I think I mentioned, Conrad, to you that they, after 30 plus years, I'm getting an action figure.
Yes.
And so anyway, I guess the reaction they got, and I had mentioned about Alfred, and the guy's like, we would love to do one with Alfred. And we tracked his son down, and I've talked to Kirsten a few times, and he just, talked about how much Alfred would say stuff about me and the people that, you, Tony, that was his family. Yeah. Right, Tony? It really was that he would be there playing cribbage with the guys in the tape room, Slim Simon and those guys. And
Simon.
Yeah. And anyway, it's been really kind of cool to talk to him, because I've learned a little bit of another side of Alfred I never knew. And there's stories he told me, which we don't have time tonight, but I'd love to talk about that sometime, because I think some of those stories need to be told. People don't know what a tremendous athlete that guy was.
Yeah, judo Alfred Hayes, right?
That's
when he first started.
But he was a pro soccer player. He was, right. I mean, he was a superstar.
Yeah.
Wow.
back when he was younger. And a lot of people don't know, not just, and also what a great wrestler he was, and what a freaking great heel he was.
Yeah.
He was nowhere near as good, and he was a good baby face, but nowhere, it didn't come close to the heel. Alfred
Yeah.
Hayes. He was nasty, that Englishman.
I was one of my biggest regrets, really, not seeing him before he passed away.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yeah, well,
and I have a lot of, as Conrad can tell you, that I'm not really good at staying in touch with people. And
aren't we all?
Yeah, I'm the worst at it. And I guess next to knowing Dave Silva, it is really one of my biggest regrets in my life. He was super. He really was. But it was a great atmosphere.
There's more time for regrets. There's more time for regrets.
Yeah, I know.
You'll get a couple more.
Exactly. But doing primetime wrestling was really cool because it was kind of an event that night with Bobby and Gorilla in the studio, and I did some of the commentary, and everybody it was good. It was a great time that I miss.
Yeah, and I think we host
Yes.
one time. I know there's a picture that exists, and I think that we hosted one of the shows. I don't remember
Yeah.
why that circumstance came up.
I know,
but
we did a
like I said,
we did a Coliseum video show. We had Coliseum videotapes and merchandise, and we were just showing excerpts from these Coliseum videos that you can buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the entire 2-hour show. And I think I don't know if Heenan couldn't make it or Gorilla couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I think it may have been Bruce or it may have been Kevin Dunn that said, let's just do a Coliseum video show. So it was both of us.
Yeah. But I know that's, like I said, I wish we would have gotten more chances because, when you do this a while, when you click, when you're with somebody that you go like, I can work with this guy, and,
Sure.
and I always felt that way with you. Of course, my other mentors who put me under their wings, Gorilla and Bobby, and of course, Alfred. I would have never survived if it wasn't for those guys. But Primetime was magic with Bobby and Gorilla. They were an unbelievable team. To me, the best ever. And of course, I'm biased because I love them so much. But I liked Vince and Jesse together, but only those two together. I didn't think they ever worked well together with anybody else.
Right.
But Bobby and Gorilla, come on. It was just unscripted. We've got we need this in 5 minutes or whatever it was, and it was go.
Right.
And so many great moments.
And the one where
you're in the news business these days, and you've also had the distinction of working for Vince McMahon. What was more challenging? What was more pressure, working for Vince or doing the news?
Oh man. Absolutely Vince. And and the thing is, thank God that I had him in my life because first of all, just because they plucked me out as a producer trying to be a talent, but the opportunities that you got back in, this I was talking about being the small company we got to do everything. Like Tony, remember we were, you were doing Coliseum videos. I did studio work. I did, arenas where you'd have to go out there with a microphone and work a crowd. I think they had some of really, maybe others were doing it, but nobody really did a fan fest first like they did. I remember when we were in Atlantic City, those first ones, and they threw me out there like, you're going to host this thing with 7 of the guys, panel discussion. Right. And that couldn't have been a better place to learn how to do everything. And then of course Vince was brutal. I mean, you never wanted to screw up. And especially when you were an announcer, I mean, imagine, at a pay-per-view event, you totally can understand this, you did it. But if you've got say 2 or 3 people in an interview situation, you're the mic stand basically. You can't screw that up. So you never wanted to be the guy that blew the stuff we did, not just because we did it live. Even if it was to tape, I never wanted to have Vince look at me like So yeah, that was pressure, and it prepared me for nothing, Conrad, in my life. And I've done some pretty crazy things as far outside of there, conventions, national conventions where the red light came on and that totally prepared me for everything. And I've given credit to that forever. If I wouldn't have had that training that I had, and also the pipes. I mean, when I used to do the event center, I'd sit there all day long, 8 hours saying, going to, Madison Square Garden this Friday night, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. And I would sit there then, okay, now next, Poughkeepsie, all these, Austin, boom, boom, boom. And then Howard would call, Sean, Warrior hurt his knee. You got to do 17 markets. Like, what? And then you have to stay there and redo the markets. There's a famous tape somewhere. I hope somebody finds it one day of Howard calling me up to tell me I had to do like 10 markets. And I'm like, and I pick up, it's a red phone. It was on the table. And I picked the thing up and threw it across the studio. And it was on tape. I wish I would have saved it, but yeah. But it was a great training ground.
Yeah. Back in the day, John Arnold would have known where it would have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, the people that, and Chuck Rose, you remember Chuck Rose? He was in the tape room. He passed away just recently.
Really?
The last, but that's what I said. Like all those people was such a small family, and we taped everything at Hamilton. And getting back to prime time, now there was like 3 versions of that we saw. We had the Bobby and Gorilla, the set with them at the desk, and then we had the panel discussion. Remember that with Vince and Kurt did a lot of those.
Right.
And then we did the live show, which I got the opportunity to work with Bobby. And that was like one of the thrills of my life. It's to do that, that live show that we did in studio. And so it was just it was a playground, for people that, and for the boys too, because it gave them an opportunity to, be in a different format and really, be up for 4 or 5 minutes doing bits that were nothing related to what they were doing as far as their card went or what their thing that they were, the storyline they were going through. So it was great. It really was.
So, and it was a long time ago, Sean. The episode we're going to watch was, you ready? 35 years ago.
Oof. Yeah. It's, I don't remember shit. Like stuff comes back to me though. Because like they said, you're going to talk about primetime. I got to tell you a story about Kurt, but I don't know where you want to go with it. But I remembered a story tonight that I can't believe I forgot about it, but you guys brought the memory back. So I got to tell it, but I don't know, whatever you want to ask about it, but
yeah, let's do it. If you got time, more for it.
Well, this is when they were doing the panel discussion.
Yes.
And do you remember that, Bobby would be there, and Vince, and then they'd bring, Kurt was there, but then they'd bring, somebody, whoever was in town.
Hillbilly Jim or whoever.
Hillbilly Jim, exactly. Yes. And Vince loved it because he loved to put you in that situation. And they decided it'd be a great idea to have me do the event center. And so they had my little desk set up that they moved it towards the set. So they just throw over to me, and I wouldn't necessarily plug an event, but I would throw to the generic superstar interviews. But they would put up, when I would do these things, they had a teleprompter, but it was way too much material. I never read stuff. But what they would do is they would take a sheet of paper and it would have the card on it or whatever, if I was throwing to interviews, and they would just use the camera. If you know how the teleprompter works, it's like in front of a camera and you can put something up on there, whether it's text or whatever. So they would like tape these cards up. And Kurt saw it one time and he goes, well, he's just trying to be really nice. What did that do? Oh, really? And I'm like, I remember thinking after I told him, I'm like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have told him that. Because I could just see something in his eyes. So, and we did this, like we did it live to tape, basically, it's like, it wasn't like, let's do that again. That's the way we did it.
Right.
So they throw to me and I go and I start doing my bit, whatever it was I was throwing to. And I see in the camera hands coming in there and he takes the sheet away. And I'm like, and thank God, I just was kind of familiar with the interviews we're throwing, and I just keep going. But he's going and he's like flipping me off in front of the camera. He's got like, and then he's like putting stuff up and says, I can't remember. It was like your mother. It was stuff like that on pieces of paper, and he was just so he did that through the entire show, and so I never knew it was coming, and I was like. I didn't want to say something to Vince because I don't know what he was going to say.
Right.
But it was like crazy that he was going in there and he figured it out with the camera. But that's the way Kurt was, you know.
Well, you know what? Once again, it taught you, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Made
Well,
you
that's
better
what's it, because you always had to
Yeah.
be on your toes for everything that was going to happen. But especially like when Kurt was around, you knew you didn't know what he was going to do, but you had to be on your toes because the stuff that he would do was insane.
Right.
Sean, Coach Rosie's with us here, and he says, you know, we know eventually Tony went back to WCW. Did you ever consider, after your WWF days, making the jump to WCW? Is that even a thought that crossed your mind?
Well, I'm you know, Tony's here, and nobody like Eric never called me. Tony, you called me one time. I don't know. Do you remember that? It was
I
right
don't.
when I was starting to leave, and you said, it wasn't. I don't even think anybody said anything to you, or you know, Eric said to call, but you just kind of like said, "Hey, would you be interested?" or something.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember that, but that was the only time. The only time, like nobody, like Eric never called me or said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And Vince wouldn't believe me. Like he was totally convinced because the timing of it was around that same time,
Yeah.
93, and he didn't believe me. Like I went over to his office. I went with Kevin Dunn, and I wanted to have a meeting with Vince to tell him I was going to, when my contract was up, I was leaving. And he said, "Okay, so you're going down south, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Yeah, you are. I mean, it's not a big deal. I understand that, you know, you got to go." And I said, "I'm not. I really." So, you know, he just couldn't believe it. And I remember walking out of there, and he said, "Well, would you stay through whatever?" And he said, and seriously, if that's what you're going to do, just be honest with me. And I said, Vince, I said, if I'm going to work in the business, I'm going to work for you. I would stay. I said, but I just feel like I have to go see what else I can do.
Yeah.
So, you know, you guys, I don't know if you know my trail after that, but I went down, and like a year later, I was working at WWOR,
Right.
and started anchoring there. And I'll never forget this, that after the first night that I was the anchor, the next day at my house, I got a telegram, and it was from Vince.
Wow.
Congratulating me and saying, thanks for making us look good. And I still have that to this day, because, you know, and I just want, I don't think I don't know if he ever got it, but I called and I said, just tell him I wasn't kidding him. I had other plans.
Wow.
So yeah.
I think if I would have called you, in my mind, I would have called you asking, "Can you bring me back?"
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I would have done. So I don't remember that, but it probably was a thing to where we were looking for someone, and I don't know. I don't know. It was so many years ago.
Yeah, well, also I think we, you know, I you probably don't remember, but we did talk a couple of times after you left, because we did, you know, we did spend some time together, and I didn't really know, you know, I knew I wanted to go, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do, you know, and so it was, you know, that was a crazy time there. So that, you know, I'm the same way. I wish I would have stayed. I really do, but you know, you go down a different path, and I was just married then, and it was, you know, wild times, but I think I don't think it was a great time. It really was.
And I know we want to start this the tape here, but I think it's a great tribute to you that you were able to make the jump from pro wrestling to the news on a New York station, because you know how it was back then, because pro wrestling announcers became stereotyped, right? Or became boxed in. You were either a pro wrestling announcer, and then you really weren't thought of on a quote unquote legitimate level. So that was a hell of a step for you. And it shows your talent that you were able to get that done. Was there anybody in the newsroom that looked at you and thought, "Yeah, he's just a wrestling guy"?
Oh God, yes. I mean, you remember Phil Mushnick? I mean, it was in New York. Mushnick would write whenever Russ Salzberg would do a story, because he liked to do stuff about the WWE, and once in a while, every time he would do something, I'd have nothing to do with it, and Mushnick the next day would say, "Obviously, Mooney has influence with the sports department." Yeah, and I would do these serious stories. You know, they would. That's like when I started there. I was on a week-to-week contract with WWR. That's how, you know, I was, you know, scraping for work, and every time, so they called them enterprise stories, and they would go out and I would go out and do these stories. And I would, the first few, because I never gotten the chance to write. I had always been a writer. I was a producer when I started. So doing these stories was really important to me. And WWR would promote these pieces, when you do them. And Mushnick would frickin' just kill me. And every time he would mention me, it would always be former wrestling announcer or former WWF announcer. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I put up with that a lot in the newsroom. And in New York, WWR was this giant TV complex. They used to shoot that show. Matt Lauer hosted it for a while.
Oh yeah,
in the same building. And I remember they used to have they had this giant newsroom. Everybody was they even had the set was in the newsroom there at first, and everybody had the desk, but they didn't have the cubicle walls. It was just desks. And I remember one time I'm in the newsroom, and I hear this, "Where's Mooney?" And I'm like, "What the hell?" And it was Lou Albano had come in to do the show, because it was like, the crazy shows that they were doing back then. And he's got his entourage with him. He's all gimmicked up because he just did this show with the rubber bands and everything. And he's screaming across the newsroom, "Where's Mooney?" And he comes in and there he is. And he, flies across the room. And I'm like, oh shit, in front of all these seasoned journalists,
Yes.
comes over, gives me a big bear hug, and I'm just going, man, well, if I had earned an ounce of credibility at this point with these schmucks, but
it was gone.
Yeah. But you know what? The thing that was, though, all the way along, and this is what hurt me, like when Bobby wrote that book and said something like, Mooney denies. And it's like, I never, ever, ever denied. I was so proud of the work I was doing and the fact that I was able to make that transition.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell them, that was the people I work for. They were the ones that would publish crap like that he, that I never mentioned that I was a wrestling announcer. But anybody ever asked me, interview me, talk to me, and they're all people trying to get you to trash Vince. I'm like, no, I owe that guy. I owe him. Yeah. He gave me a career. So and it has never changed with me as far as I've never, thought I became this journalist. I've always been like the anti kind of like, you guys are full of shit. I used to say, you guys sit there and think that, that wrestling is fake. And I said, no. And, wrestling, it knows what it is. This is, it was fake news then, and it's never changed. So, yeah. And that's never left me. And the business, everything is wrestling.
Yes.
Everything in life is wrestling. And especially now, right?
Yeah. Right.
You want to know anything about life? Why was Pat Patterson and people like that? Like what made them such great wrestlers and bookers and all this? Because their greatest gift was psychology. Yes. They understood how people thought, and the greatest do. Right. And that's what it's all about. That everything in wrestling is life. It really mirrors life, and it's crazy.
Just got to know how to work.
True. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've been working ever since. I've been working ever since. This is my gimmick.
I love it.
My gimmick. Yeah. Not too much longer, I hope. I hope I'm out I'm almost done.
I can't believe this is a real sentence, but Vince is out of WWE. I didn't think there would ever be a day where we would say that, but that is the present circumstance. Earlier this month, Netflix put out a big documentary called Mr. McMahon. I got to ask, did you get a chance to see it? What'd you think?
Yes, I did. Besides, and even after all this, all this stuff that came out in the end, there's like, okay, what did you show us? There's nothing new there, and I think that it was a hit piece. They came out to try and destroy him. And if you're going to do that, like, everybody knows, if you know Vince McMahon, there was the good, there was the bad, and he could be, but the man did a lot of good, and he did a lot for a lot of people over the years, and they didn't tell the stories about that, and the guys that he kept there. How many of those guys that were backstage? Who knows what the hell those guys would have been doing if it wasn't for Vince? And he kept them on the payroll for years, and of course they brought their expertise to the business, but really. how many of those guys were on the payroll for decades that nobody ever knew about?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was not impressed. I think that there's been a lot of other shows that have been done much better, and that one I was like, that was supposed to be the big shock. That's why, there was rumors that he was going to go and, after each one he was going to defend himself, and it was like, no need. There was after the last one came out with the stuff on the head and stuff like that, you're like, okay, what else are you going to tell me that, and they didn't. So what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think of it?
Tony's not watched it. Tony says he has no plans to watch it.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch anything done by Bill Simmons.
Yeah. It
Not at all.
was,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what those guys do with the documentary, the documentaries that they do with the WWE. That is a core, and I hope that they've learned their lesson that you got the talent right in house. The stuff of going into Hollywood and having these assholes produce this stuff, and then them having to fix it. It's just crazy. I mean, I know Chris Chambers. You remember Chris Chambers, Tony?
Yeah.
And Conrad. I don't know. Have you ever met him?
I have, yes, sir.
Yeah, and Chris was a creative, such a huge creative part of that whole business with them, and the successes that they had. Even he was there when I came in, but they do these things, spend millions of dollars, and then he would fix it. These guys they'd come back, and then they'd end up having to fix it, and you're like, why did you do that? Like these guys, they're right here. So I don't know. There's always been that fascination. There was always that fascination with Hollywood, and that's something Vince always, I felt it was going to make him legitimate, all the way from No Holds Barred. Remember that classic?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They killed a man.
Were you there when we went to the premiere? Remember we had to go to the premiere.
I did the interview with Kurt. What's his name? Kurt Fuller.
Yep.
Yeah. When he walked out in complete character, Oh, here he is, Mr. So-and-so. I did the interview as he walked out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember Randy was there, and he had like the full yellow spandex. So he's a nice canary suit.
Yeah.
Macho.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Mooney, we can't thank you enough for all the time. I know that you've got to get to another broadcast, but man, this was so awesome to catch you up. How can our listeners keep up with what's going on with you these days?
Well, I'm hoping I'm really thinking of trying to bring Prime Time back and do some podcasting when I get free of this. So, keep an eye out. I'm going to England in February for a show over there. And then of course, like the action figures are coming out. So it's kind of cool, but I'll keep you posted, Conrad. And, I hope to be doing more of that. If folks want to get in touch with me, you can email me at primetimemooney at gmail.com. It's pretty easy. primetimemooney at gmail.com. But but it was, and I think Tony would agree that some of the greatest times of our lives when we worked there, and especially during that period, we were very fortunate.
We were there for Hulkamania, man.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, like Hulk's all over the place, man.
Boy, is he ever.
Just saw him on Hannity. He's like,
wow.
Wrestling is life, boys. Wrestling is life.
And everything is wrestling. Thank you for all the time, Mr. Mooney, and I can't wait to see you down the road.
Sean, I love you guys.
Yeah, go work the news for us, buddy.
Yep, more fake news on the way.
Okay. Thanks,
I'm gonna lie to people. I gotta go lie to people tonight. I'll see you.
Okay.
Be well.
Man.
Thanks,
How about that, Tony? How about that for a
tremendous.
big surprise right there?
That was great.
Man, that's hitting me in the feels. That's nostalgia right there. It reminds me of Magic Spoon. I mean, as a kid, we know that we love the way this cereal tastes, but as an adult, we're like, maybe I don't need all that sugar. Maybe I need some protein. And if you're already a Magic Spoon fan, man, I've got big news. Magic Spoon has turned their super popular cereal into high protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars we all grew up on. Now, as far as every serving of Magic Spoon cereal, let me tell you, it's got 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs. So you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa, but there's so many more. And Magic Spoon's brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and it's an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And now, for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. They've also got blueberry muffin, but I got to tell you, my pick, it's double chocolate. I double dog dare you to try it. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/WHW or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/WHW for $5 off. Magic Spoon. Hold on to the dream. And Tony, without further ado, man, I'm fired up. I'm ready for this Halloween edition of Primetime Wrestling. Follow along with us, boys and girls. It's on Peacock. It's season 5, episode 44. It went down on October 30th, 1989. So as you're listening to this, it was 35 years ago today. Go to Peacock, season 5, episode 44. And Tony, I know sometimes we have a countdown, but today we've got another surprise for you. And we'll do a countdown immediately after. Here we go.
Okay.
The Lord above gave man an arm of iron, so he can do his job and never serve. The Lord gave man an arm of iron, but with a little bit of luck, someone else do the blinking work. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, you'll never work.
And here we go. And 3.
Wait a minute. I got to count down. I don't want to top that, but that's from My Fair Lady, by the way.
How great was that?
Yes.
Shout out to our man.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark. We appreciate you coming through. It was great to see you last week. Appreciate you sending that in. And thanks for Coach Rosie for lining it up.
Yeah, he's the man, buddy. Thank you, Coach. Okay, this comes from Adam Dye. It's been we've had it for a couple of weeks. I neglected to play it. It's something different that we've never heard.
Okay, here we go.
So I wanted to pay a little tribute to Tony. Before he was the voice of our childhood, he grew up poor there in Craigsville, West Virginia. So I rewrote a verse of a song, kind of a parody to Loretta Lynn. The only problem is I couldn't find a professional singer or anybody that could play an instrument to participate in this. So I figured what I'd do, I'd just take one for the team here. So with a hit of helium, I'm going to pay a little tribute to Tony Schiavone.
In the summertime, we didn't have shoes to wear, but in the winter, we always had a brand new pair. From a mail order catalog, money made from sucking a hog. Tony always managed to get the money somewhere.
Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, play.
Tony, is that the best countdown we've ever had?
It's one of the best.
My God, what an episode this is already. This is a force.
Yes, it is. I hate to play that after that big mark, but man.
I mean, what an incredible countdown that we've the blessings are abound this evening. We got to keep this nighttime stuff going. Sean Mooney, Big Mark, and maybe the best countdown we ever had. And now we're watching Primetime Wrestling. Yeah. I mean, I know it's Halloween, but damn, it feels like Christmas.
We probably should do a whole podcast on helium.
I'm for it. I'm doing it on gummies right now.
Look, there's a bat. There's a bat on the WWF logo. And look at
how great is that? Gorilla Monsoon dressed up as Brother Love and Bobby the Brain Heenan dressed up as the Genius. He's got NWO Hollywood Hogan beard on. How about that?
I think it's funny that once again they bring in Roddy Piper as the guest host. They show his picture, but they don't show Bobby Heenan. So there you go. Well, you think we should have dressed up for Halloween?
Well, I mean, I knew you weren't gonna. I mean,
I wasn't gonna.
Kind of Schiavone,
you know? Right.
But I'm good with it because you're our favorite announcer.
Yeah, there you go.
And by the way, we had trick or treat action. You know, that's what I call Sean Mooney. That's what I call Big Mark. That's trick or treat right there.
Yeah, that is trick or treat action, man. Sean Mooney. Holy smokes.
How great was that, dude? Shout out to Evan Polisher. You know, he used to help Sean with his Primetime Wrestling podcast. And of course, Evan's sort of the secret sauce for all things adfreeshows.com. So Evan made that connection. And of course, Coach Rosie helped lined up Big Mark. And man, we had a couple of fun little surprises today. I'm pumped. Yeah. Hey, you know, as you and I are talking, the World Series is going on. I know you don't give one shit.
Not at all.
But the Dodgers are up 4-0.
Mm,
And this is the first game in New York. They're already ahead in the series 2-0.
yeah.
It's looking so good for the Yanks. You think there's any chance they come back, or is this a clean sweep?
I don't think it's clean sweep, but it'd be very difficult to come back for 3-0. And I had mixed emotions because of my love for Reggie Jackson as my favorite baseball player of all time. You know, I started out as a fan of the Oakland A's, and of course they shit all over my childhood. And I became a fan of the Yankees because of Reggie Jackson back in my college days. And so game one, I had mixed emotions because I read that Freddie Freeman hit a grand slam, and Freddie had played for us in Gwinnett when I was the voice of the Gwinnett Braves in 2010. And I got to know Freddie very, very well. And he truly is one of the more remarkable men you'll ever find. So talented, so nice, such a great family man, just a great human being. So it was really kind of a mixed emotions with me to see the Yankees lose the opening game that way, but seeing Freddie Freeman hit the grand slam, walk-off grand slam to win it. And of course, it doesn't matter how elated I am about anybody, taking a look at the Red Rooster will always bring me back down to earth.
Man, what an interesting match this is. Our very first match on a special Halloween edition of Primetime Wrestling is Greg the Hammer Valentine, who's looking like $1 million. He's got a great robe. I love when he used to wear the shin guard on his left leg there. It reminded me of Terry Pendleton of the Braves. And he's got Jimmy, the mouth of the South Heart. And look who our referee is. It's Gorilla Monsoon's son,
Joey Morella.
It's just hard to imagine that when you take a look at this, you would think he would be the first guy going.
Yeah, I
know. 35 years later, the ref is gone, but Valentine and Terry Taylor, who is the Red Rooster here. And of course, at this point, you had seen Terry Taylor and Bill Watts, and of course, even in JCP. When you saw him do the Red Rooster persona, what was your first impression of Terry Taylor's new WWF gimmick?
I thought it was terrible. And I understand they tried to make something out of him. I don't think this was a knock on Terry like what they tried to do to Dusty, but I just thought it was terrible.
Do you think you could have gotten the gimmick over?
Me?
Yeah. Could you have made the Red Rooster work
as an announcer?
Yes.
I would have given it a shot. I don't know. I'm only as good as the guy in the ring. Yeah. You do know that, don't you?
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it's really easy to put people over. Will Ospreay comes to mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not so easy to put people over. So.
Speaking of people you love to put over, we've got a great question here. Coach Rosie wants to know, would you go as Disco Inferno for $1,000? For $1,000, would you dress up as Disco Inferno for Halloween?
Yeah, but I might, because no one would know who I was. No one on earth would know who I was. Even the wrestling fans from back in the 90s would not know who I was, because no one knows him. As much as he tries, no one knows him. But go ahead.
Do you like to do fun stuff?
Do I like to do fun stuff?
Do you like to do fun stuff?
I don't. It depends on what category the fun stuff is in.
Hear me out. What if, when we finish recording,
yeah,
I send a text to the West Coast? We're pretty close. And what if I arrange for a Disco Inferno WCW outfit to be delivered to your AEW hotel? Will you wear it on Dynamite? Can you imagine if you were Disco Inferno? Dude, you would melt the internet. It'd be great.
Yeah, I sure would. Probably melt my career that same night. Meanwhile, back and forth they go in the ring, in the neutral corner, back and forth. It's the Red Rooster with the right hand, down low. Valentine staggers, and he goes face first, a la Ric Flair.
Hey, can you imagine if these guys wrestled in JCP, how good the match would be versus what they're doing here, how cartoonish seemingly it is?
Yeah. Did you see Ronnie Garvin pop up in our stills here? Dave Silva had too much tequila?
I don't know. It's not my day to watch him, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Coach Rosie says, I'll drive to pick it up in Vegas. Coach, stay right where you are. Just keep bringing Big Mark in. Do your job. That's enough.
John Hamilton, he has a way with words.
Yeah.
He says, I went to Sapphires when I was in Las Vegas last month.
Uh-huh.
And the stripper didn't know who Disco was.
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to use that term. I think it's entertainer.
Entertainer did. Well, you know what? That says a lot about him him not doing shit.
Well, I don't think he introduces himself as that.
Okay.
Like, do you think when Mark Calloway meets somebody at the Waffle House, he goes, "Hey, Undertaker"?
No, but everybody will know who he is. Disco goes in the Waffle House. They don't know who he is. So
Yeah, they think he's an extra from the Goodfellas.
Right.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I love me some Joey Morella, but that was
terrible count, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get down. I'm just gonna drop on my knees and count. Clunk,
That was
clunk.
not good.
Yeah, he was either pissed off or there's a chance. I don't know. You think there's a chance that Joey Morella was mad at one of these two guys for some reason?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know because he was a good referee. I just,
Hey, Bryant wants to know how much money would it take to dye your hair and spike it like the Red Rooster? What about that?
Brian, it's not gonna happen.
Wait, what do you mean it's not gonna?
Not gonna happen.
Why are you saying it like that? It could happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
But it could.
As Dana Carvey said, as George Bush,
Not gonna do it.
not gonna do it.
Wouldn't be prudent. Not at this juncture.
Is Dana Carvey one of the best comedians ever or what? God,
Man,
God.
I want you to know Dave Silva, he can't whack himself off enough to Martin Short, Steve Martin, and whoever you just said.
Yes, Dana Carvey.
Just wears it out.
Yeah, he wears me out too. Just one of the best. Coach
Hey,
Keith,
I just looked. It looks like July of '88. Is that when you think that the Red Rooster would have come in? Does that sound right to you? July of '88?
to WWF?
Yeah. So at this point, he's been here about 14 months.
Probably so. Anyway, Coach Keith just woke up. I want to.
Oh yeah,
And he's only going to be awake for like 5 minutes, so we just want to say hello to him because he'll fall back asleep again. Well, there's Ronnie Garvin. Dave was way ahead of us. Dave Silva was. Yeah, I think that's about right. The reason is that when I was working for JCP and got the call from JJ about coming to the WWE, the Red Rooster was already there. So he probably went there in '88 because that was '88 when I got the call from. Oh, you see the guy with the camera right there?
Yep.
Okay, that's Tim Wahlberg.
Okay.
Was our director at AEW, and I think he's the director of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling now.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. So Tim.
Wait, is that the guy who a few years ago when Punk came back, we heard him doing the commentary from the room? Like, he's like, there was a guy in the production truck. There was a video that was posted to social where he's like, all right, camera 1, camera 2.
That probably should have been him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I thought I'd heard that name before, and I was like, that's probably it.
Yeah. Tim was a cameraman back in the day, the WWE.
We see Gorilla Monsoon looking like Brother Love. Is that the best Brother Love costume you've ever seen, maybe ever?
Yeah, it may be the only one too.
Yeah, that might actually be Bruce's shit right there.
Right. Absolutely.
Hey, John Hamilton is with us here live, and he says, Tony, my mother-in-law died last week. Should I be scared that she will tell my wife I was at a strip club in Vegas in my wife's dream?
Well, it depends on, John, it depends on how your mother-in-law returns to this life. My mother-in-law has returned as a bird, a cardinal, a red bird. And if I do not put, and which I do, covers over my rearview mirrors, she will shit on the side of my car every morning. So if, she could end up at the foot of your bed and talk to your wife and tell her that you were in a strip club. But the fact is that we just announced it. John Hamilton from South Carolina, who has some wonderful children and a wonderful wife, was at a strip club in Las Vegas. The word's going to get out faster from us than it is your dead mother-in-law. So there you go. The gimmick's up. They're trying to get Mean Gene in there for their Halloween spectacular. I just saw that. And
Oh man, I love that old magazine. You
I
got
do
the
too,
Ultimate
man.
Warrior on the cover
Yeah.
with the Intercontinental title.
Uh,
Man, that's my childhood right
uh,
there. This is good stuff.
yeah. I get everybody the matchup and World Wrestling Entertainment Champion. They even put Entertainment Champion in the
Captions.
captions. Oh my God. Oh, this is what we saw last week. Remember? They saw this was from Saturday night's main event. Yeah, because I guess we're still promoting the movie, right?
Oh yeah, you're getting ready to do the match, the movie.
Okay, because
So it came out around Christmas. You know why have a regular Christmas when you can have an all holds barred Christmas?
very cool because they had the match at SummerSlam.
Yes, but that was a tag match. And what I'm talking about is they did a cage match that they filmed at Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, and they ran the match right after the movie. And you could go to the theater and see it again, or you could get the VHS where it was the movie and then the match.
Yeah. Tiny Lister's so cool. You know, he was in maybe the best Batman movie ever, the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker. You'll recall.
Oh, I forgot he was in that. That is a good one.
Yeah, he was in the boat with all the criminals.
Yep.
Yep. He was a cool guy. Cool guy.
I think 89 is still my favorite Batman, but that one's probably second.
Yeah, that's just that's they're all. Yeah, I agree.
Have you been watching The Penguin on Max?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I've kind of gotten stuck because Lois and I are right now really into British TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of British TV, Coach Rosie wants to know what actress looks enough like Lois if they were to dress up like her. Is there a celebrity that could play Lois? If you were going to cast someone to play Lois in the story of your life, who would it be?
Stacy Keibler.
Looks just like her, really. Who would play you is maybe a better question.
I don't know, man. I have no. It probably would be
Peter Dinklage.
No, Emilio Estevez. Okay.
Oh man, the Mighty Ducks. You know, the Tony Schiavone version would be the Mighty Fucks.
The Mighty Don't Give a Fucks.
The Slightly Fucks. So listen, we're seeing a lot of fun Halloween costumes here. When you think about your kids' Halloween costumes, can you think of each one? Like when you think about Chris as a kid, what was his favorite? What was your favorite costume of him as a kid?
My favorite costume, God, I wish I had the picture. I have a picture of all the kids, the 4 boys dressed up, and Lois made all the costumes, okay? The 4 boys dressed up as Ninja Turtles, and Laurie dressed up as April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was my favorite one of all of them. And I wish I had that. God bless America. So let's keep talking about wrestling. Now I'll look it up because it is a classic from the Schiavone household.
Well, something else that's classic is what's coming up here on Prime Time. It's kind of interesting to look back and see, although we're watching this on the 28th, some of the matches we've just seen were actually filmed on October 2nd in Wheeling, West Virginia, Tony's home state. Yeah. It was a sellout, 7,800 folks there.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting to think about who all's on this show. Al Perez would make his debut for the WWF, beating George South. The rest of the taping would have Mark Young and Alan Reynolds, Akeem over Paul Roma, Greg Valentine over the Red Rooster, which we just saw, Tito Santana and Bob Emery, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov taking on Trent Knight and Reno Riggins, Bad News Brown and Chuck Casey, Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart. I mean, this thing just goes on and on and on. There's so many more matches, including Barry Windham, Hercules, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, Andre the Giant's here, Jake Roberts, Dusty Rhodes, The Powers of Pain, Demolition. I mean, this is a who's who. And of course, coming out last, you know, we're going to have the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, and Randy Savage. And that man right there, what an outfit we see with Rowdy Roddy Piper pretending to be Bobby the Brain Heenan. What about that look for Roddy? What do you think?
I love it. And boy, I wish we could track the sound because it'd be classic. Oh, good stuff.
It's probably not making very much sense.
Well, you know,
but it was fun. I guarantee you it was fun.
Yes. Yes. Heenan's
Here's a-
pissed. You can see on the left. And
or he's selling. I don't know that he cares.
no, of course he doesn't. He's selling. Okay.
Coach Keith wants to know, Tony, if you're driving down the road and these two guys are on fire, who would you piss on to save them? Disco Inferno or the Red Rooster?
Well, first of all, Coach Keith, you can't really save a guy by pissing on him.
But if you could, I
Okay.
want to tweak it though. Would you piss on Disco or Bobby Heenan?
I think I would just keep driving.
Just let them burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, burn, baby, burn. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. John Hamilton wants to know, where's everyone at on Tulsa King? Have you been watching Tulsa King, Tony?
I not watch it, and I should, because Taylor Sheridan did it, and I love his everything that he does. You know.
And there's a great independent wrestler who wrestles for Al Snow and OVW who's on there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of Sylvester Stallone's henchmen this season.
Which one is this? What's the kid's name? You don't know?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I gave you all the information I had, and you called me out on it. I plan to do that to you shortly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Did you look out those goddamn costumes for your kids yet?
I asked Lois to send it to me. Would you settle the fuck down? Let's talk about wrestling.
All right, your turn.
Okay. Hey, great wrestling. Your turn.
So good.
Okay.
So good.
Yes.
Listen, we're having a lot of fun watching old school WWF, and whenever I think of old school WWF, there's a few staples that make it identifiable to me: the red, white, and blue ropes, the color of the canvas, the color of the ring apron,
Right.
the iconic turnbuckles, but even the referee outfit, like the black pants, the baby blue shirt, short sleeve with a black bow tie. I don't know why it just makes me think of the WWF, but do you think all of those things are important? Does presentation really matter for something like a referee?
Yeah, of course it does. Presentation is everything. I go back to the old adage or the old thing that I've said before, and that is the reason Vince was so successful back in this era, and the reason he put all these independent wrestlers out of business, because his show looked better. It was a better presentation. The wrestling wasn't necessarily better, was it? But he made stars out of them because he knew how to package, he knew how to market, he knew how to present things. Who's Tito Santana wrestling here?
Your mom. So the
big
guy who's in Tulsa King is Cash Flow. Shout out to Amy for knowing that.
Okay.
This is Bob Emery that Tito Santana is going to beat in 3 minutes and 31 seconds with a flying forearm. There's your spoiler.
Okay, great.
What's your favorite Cash Flow match, Tony?
It's probably the one in the last OVW show. Remember that one?
Oh, it was good, man.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Sold out hanging from the rafters.
Sure did. It was great stuff. I'm glad I watched it. I plan to go and watch it again.
You did it in slow motion, if I remember. Took notes on that shit.
I sure did. Hey, you know what? I was thinking about this, and I know Derek, who works with us, already has suggested a program for next week, which is pretty cool. But I was wondering, should we watch more Ring of Honor stuff, since we can probably use some of the stuff? I mean, we've already watched a lot of Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, which has been great. We had that, but I just wondered that we maybe could watch some other stuff.
I like it. Have you ever seen or heard of Steve Corino versus Homicide in a barbed wire match?
I have not.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
And I nominate that. But we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments, what Ring of Honor would you like to see Tony watch? And I do have it on good authority that a friend of ours has managed to make sure there is a YouTube permission now. So we'll be able to play some AEW and some Ring of Honor and not get a strike because, well, we're shilling for your boss.
Yes, and because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Exactly right. So can't find the picture. I asked Lois, she would send it to me, but I believe that Lois be sleeping.
Colossal Connection coming up next. I always love that shot where they show the giant boot from Andre the Giant, and then you can see in the distance Haku doing his thing. This look for Roddy Piper, he looks like he's right out of an 80s comedy, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. Do you remember Roddy Piper doing a Halloween skit where he was at the house and he was putting together all these different he took bowling balls,
the Batman outfit, or the Iron Sheik was, and he was like putting his head and bobbing for apples and all that.
Yeah. And then the kids were getting ready to come by, and he was making these caramel apples out of bowling balls, right? With
Yes.
straws stuck in them. And then
Yes.
he was looking in the ring. All of a sudden, the door, looking at the camera, the doorbell rang, and he just got this evil smile on his face. Oh,
Good stuff.
yeah. And listen, Roddy was one of the guys that helped make Vince successful back in the day. I mean,
No
he
doubt.
really was. First WrestleMania. Geez. And
All-time underrated performer. I mean, as popular as he was and as
Yeah.
successful as he was,
yeah.
he was still an even bigger star. Man, I love this Andre shot. They're shooting him low, walking to the ring.
Right.
I just love that shot, man.
Yep. Man, Haku. I know we told all the Haku stories that one man can stomach, but he was the man.
Oh, ain't no
I,
doubt about
I,
that.
al- I always said if I ever ran a wrestling company, I would have 3 people work for me, and that would be Haku, Rick Steiner, and probably Billy Gunn.
Just make sure everything went the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, every time I negotiated a contract, Haku was sitting there with me. Turn around, kids, and look at the camera. There you go.
Hey, by the way, you're about to see a tag match here
Uh-huh.
again with Mike Williams and Chuck Casey. And
Right.
I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I think Chuck Casey is the guy who got the rocker dropper.
The what?
Maybe I got that name wrong.
Okay. The rocker dropper.
Yeah. Who was the guy who got paralyzed with the rocker dropper?
Oh.
Chuck Casey. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
No, I'm wrong. Chuck Austin.
Chuck Austin. Okay.
Wrong Chuck.
Do you see the Brain Busters come out?
I did.
Yeah.
Snuck right out there, threw their arm around Bobby the Brain Heenan, and
Right.
man, I love their run up there, but I guess it was a lot more dates for a lot less money, a lot more aggravation, a lot more travel time,
Mhm.
because they were zigzagging all over the country, whereas you could be home a little bit if you work for JCP. So it's no surprise that they both wound up, as crazy as it sounds, man, less than a month later, they're both out of there.
Isn't it something?
Survivor Series is done, and look, they're walking around with the tag belts. When little does the world know, they're leaving. Is that one of the great what ifs of all time in wrestling? Do you think Tully Blanchard, if he was able to come into WCW in 1990? I mean, that's one of the great what ifs, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would have been it would have been a great move for us, and it would have really worked, and it would have been a very exciting time. I just I think this is I think it's a good cautionary tale. Oh, by the way, I found the picture. I'm going to send it to Dave Silver right now. I think it's a good cautionary tale about not only us in wrestling, but it's also a good cautionary tale for anybody in life. And that is, you may think the grass is greener on the other side, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought the grass was greener in WCW. Woo, I found out day one.
Look at the crowd, how excited they are to see Andre come in.
Yeah, man. Big star, right? Gee whiz.
It's one of the few wrestlers I never got to see. I would have loved to have seen Andre in real life in person.
Well, as Bobby Heenan says it, if Andre didn't like you, you were in big trouble.
Yeah.
You could, I mean, if you couldn't move him.
Nailed that kick, man. That was awesome.
Oh,
I don't know if I'd want to take that elbow.
no, I don't know either. All right. But the Colossal Connection didn't last long.
No. I mean, I think their last match was WrestleMania 6, where they dropped the tag straps, the demolition. If you remember, that's when Andre couldn't really move around that much. That's only 6 months after this.
Yeah.
That fella right there who just got drop kicked by Haku could be Bruce Pritchard's son Kane with a rat tail.
Here's the kick again. Oh, well, his hand blocked it. I'm a little bit behind you, but they're showing the replay.
Oh, man. What do you think Hulk Hogan's saying here?
Let's see. Let me get to it. Well, brothers and sisters, it's Halloween. That's exactly right. As we head to Survivor Series, I look up in the sky and I see the big man look over us and tell me, you know what? Survivor Series, in effect, sucked. But the fact is that we're big stars. Take a look at these two guys to my right with their painted face. Take a look to my left for this guy with that snake, that big snake. And I'm talking about a big snake. Not the one between his pants, brother, but the guy who has the snake. The guy who was Jake the Snake Roberts before he came here. And then he came here, and Vince said, let's give you a real snake. Sorry, I had to cough right there. And then he said, you know what, brother? We're going to make you Hulk Hogan's crew or the Hulkamaniacs. And I said, brother, whatever you go do, make sure Brother Brudai is with me. And you know why, don't you? Because we got to get prepped for the show. That's exactly right. And one day, sorry, I had to cough again. Jake the Snake Roberts. I can't do any more, Conrad. That voice choked me up. Oh, that's right. I was fired from the back of a truck. That's right. I was the blacktop bully. They put me on a flatbed and they fired me for doing juice on TV. Juice! The fuck's going on? I'm Barry Darso. I'm from Minnesota, and right now I weigh, in 2024, 850 pounds. That's all I got. Oh, man.
Here's what I know you got. You got our friends at Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath.
Brother.
And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs. And then it gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, your workouts, your sleep, and even your stress management. All you got to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. And then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after your workouts and even your meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And here's why your metabolism really matters. I mean, think about it almost as your body's engine. It's how your body turns the food you eat into the fuel that keeps you going. And because your metabolism is literally at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a whole host of benefits like easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep. Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health with each breath. Lumen's recommendations are designed to improve your pre- and post-workout fueling for better performance and recovery so you can power through your toughest workouts and add on muscle mass. So if you want to stay on track with your health this holiday season, go to lumen.me/WHW to get 15% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.me/WHW for 15% off your purchase. Lumen makes a great gift too. And we thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring today's episode.
Well, Heenan, as I'm watching right now, has taken his microphone off and walked away.
I love it.
Yeah. And we're going to go back to the ring. Give us time code here. See if I'm going to get synced up with you.
I got the American Dream getting funky like a monkey on the way to the ring at 30, 26, 27, 28,
yep. We're on
29, 30, 30. The polka dots are here to stay. Yep. What do you think, dude?
Tony Schiavone with Lord Alfred Hayes on the call here, by the way. I do have the picture. Dave, if you'll show us the picture of the Schiavone kids as Ninja Turtles.
Oh, my gosh. What a great photo.
There's Laurie as April O'Neil on the left. There's Matt in the middle. And then there's Chris down to his left and the twins behind him. Yeah, isn't that great? Lois made all those uniforms.
Did you have one too?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I thought you were Master Splinter, you old motherfucker, you.
Yeah, this is when we came right back. This is when we came back from Connecticut because there's the car I bought while I was in Connecticut. So, yeah, this was probably I was sure it was 1990. That's great, man. That's my favorite Halloween for the kids.
Even is that wait? Are you saying that's your Marietta house right now? That's your same house?
Yep, it sure is.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Coach Rosie pointing out that you had that sweet, sweet sob money. That's what Ted Turner was getting. You that sweet, sweet sob money.
No, that was sweet, sweet Vince money that I bought that sob with, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think the big boss man saying right here about Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, I didn't know what we were flying him in. Dusty Rhodes, let me tell you something right now. I'm from Cobb County, Georgia. That's exactly right. Cobb County, Georgia. I don't care.
Why don't you just How'd you make Sylvester?
I don't care.
I do declare.
I do declare. Okay.
I saith unto the Lord. By the way, Monday Night Football is over, in case you were curious. The Pittsburgh Steelers have just beat the New York Football Giants 26-18. The Giants are now 2-6 on the season.
Wow. Yeah, man, that from the word go, that bored me. Giants against Pittsburgh.
Man, I love watching Dusty and the polka dots. I know that a lot of people absolutely hate it, but in my fandom, this is the first time I saw Dusty. So I never saw, all the JCP and NWA Dusty. This was my first exposure. So therefore, I just love the polka dot version, man. I really did.
Yeah. Wow.
Bobby the Brain Heenan. There's the set. I wonder where that set is. Do you think there's any chance WWE still has that?
I would think so.
What if I build a set like that upstairs? I may do that here. Wouldn't that be awesome if that was our podcast set?
It would be great if it was our podcast set. It would almost convince me to come to your place to sit
at
there
least once.
Yeah.
You do it once.
Okay, I'll do it once.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice, any of you football fans out there, notice this weekend that my Washington Redskins, who are no longer the Redskins, who are the Commanders, okay, not only have completely thrown away their heritage, okay, they have also came out in uniforms that look like the Pittsburgh Steelers from the 60s. What the fuck?
You see the finish to that game yesterday?
No. I just saw a shot of what's his name? Their quarterback. And then I saw what? Good God, that was horrible. That was a terrible uniform.
The finish of the Commanders Bears game yesterday is one of the wildest things you'll ever see, Tony. Okay. I know you hate sports, but you should go out of your way to see that.
Who won it?
I'm not going to give you a spoiler. I just want you to go watch it.
No, give me a spoiler because I won't watch it.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, good. Thank God it doesn't matter.
I mean, your team won.
Well, my team's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I understand.
Oh, Jesus. Look at that handsome motherfucker.
Oh,
right
and look at the hair he's got on top of his head.
Wonder what he's up to these days.
I don't know. He would sit in that studio in front of a green screen.
You used to talk about how Tom Zink. I bet Sean Mooney was like the Walking Dead back in the day. You know what? Just walking around, just knocking them down. That's a handsome dude right there.
Yeah, it is. But
right off the set of Wall Street, the movie.
Yeah, but Sean Mooney was one of the straight up nicest men you'll ever find. He wasn't a dirtbag like you.
I'm not saying he was, but I'm saying he could have been slinging that thing around. He could have.
I don't think he did.
I didn't. No. I'm not saying he did.
Okay.
I'm saying he had the capacity to. He had the option.
Yeah, see, you're throwing that out in the universe, which means you think he did.
No, I'm just saying he was a handsome devil. I mean, you were acting like if Tom Zink were with us, you'd take care of business for him.
I never said that at all. But
yeah, you did.
No, there you applied that. Implied that. Applied, implied.
That was me.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You want him to impale you. What do you think Bridges is saying right there?
Let me tell you a few things about I can't do it. I can't change my voice tonight. I'm glad this is not Saturday.
Get your little fucking bong out, bitch.
Get your little bong out, bitch. The line of the night. Lois, bong. Okay.
Get our new shirt, Lois, bong, ! Available now at loisrules.com. Matter of fact, hashtag bong, bitch.
I can't affect my voice. I can't do it. Wow, what's wrong with me tonight?
Man, I wish there was why don't you just get Tony to do a Thanksgiving night pay-per-view? I mean, I know we've got the Wednesday night tradition. I guess that's close enough, but I need a little wrestling on Thanksgiving night.
No, I need to be home on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, okay. I'm supposed to think about you now. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, Tony, what are your big plans for Crown Jewel this weekend? I know you're hosting a Crown Jewel watch-along party.
Wait a minute. You talking about the liquor?
No. WWE is running wrestling shows in Saudi Arabia this weekend.
That's Crown Royal, Right.
Yeah, Crown Royal is the liquor.
Okay. Crown Jewel.
Yes.
Crown Jewel.
Crown Royal is Jim Ross.
Yeah. Okay.
Crown Jewel is Triple H.
Okay. You're going to be watching it, I'm sure.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not going to miss it.
Because I ain't watching it. Who's on the card, Conrad?
Yeah, that's a great question. I bet there's some people that you know.
Yeah, and when is it? When is it?
It's Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah,
Saturday, November 2nd.
I'm going to be in Philadelphia Saturday, November 2nd with Collision. Okay.
How about this? Cody Rhodes versus Gunther.
Well, who's
Nia
Gunther?
Jax. Oh man, you'd love Gunther.
Okay.
Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens.
All right, those two names I know.
LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. title.
I know Andrade's name.
And then we've got I guess this is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair taking on Sane and Sky, Legend and Jackson, Green and Niven. So it's a fatal 4-way for the ladies tag.
Okay. I'll be in Philadelphia, and Coach Keith Morrison says he'll be in Philadelphia as well.
I was wondering if he was going to be there.
Yeah, I'd be way past his bedtime. But that's how we go.
John Hamilton wants to know all the hard-hitting questions. He wants to know who had the biggest dong, Andre the Giant or Elegante.
Okay. Don't know. I think Andre the Giant probably had the biggest dong. You know what's great about John Hamilton's El Gante? Andre the Gant or El Gante?
It's late night. He's been drinking. Cut him a break.
All right.
I love this presentation here. Rick the Model Martel coming to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
This is before he's wearing the glasses and he's got arrogance. This is the early version of the character. What did you think of the model persona, Tony? I loved it as a kid.
I did too. I loved it as working there. I thought it was very, very cool. And I thought that Martel could be a guy that you could elevate to be a top star. I thought the model would be something they could push towards Hulk Hogan. I guess it never happened, did it? Or did it?
What's crazy is there's a pre-recorded promo that aired at the end of August, the end of September. So 1 month prior to this, where Rick Martel is going to beat Terry Daniels. But the little fly-in promo is where he's claiming because of his sex appeal, he could be a model. And then before you know it, we start to see vignettes.
Uh-huh.
And now here it is. So this is the early version, one of the very first times we would have seen the model persona. I don't know why it worked for me, but it did. And as silly as it was, I loved arrogance. It was great.
Yeah, and you know what? Slick was pretty freaking cool, man. And not only that, you know what I love about Rick Martel here? The freaking haircut, man. The freaking haircut.
He looks like an action figure. He's so jacked, so tan, and he's got the great haircut. He looks just like an action figure.
Yeah, or he could have been a movie star. Could have been in he could have been in Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
All right, you got to pick one. Oh yeah, here's what you do. You got an F one, you got a marry one, you got.
Oh no, I'm not doing that F kill bullshit.
All right, but it's Tom Zink, it's Rick Martel,
and
it's Rey Mysterio Jr.
Okay, it's Tom Zink. What?
I said F, marry, kill, and you just said Tom Zink. That's the best. That is the most Tony Schiavone answer of all time.
Right.
I know exactly what you would do if Tom Zink were here. You'd say, Conrad, what's the promo code for Blue Chew? And I'd say it's WHW, Tony. Go make a lasting impression with the Z-Man. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers you the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. The process is simple. You just sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door. And the best part? Well, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night. So plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew wants to help you have the confidence to perform at your very best. So discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code WHW at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. The promo code is WHW and you receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
I wonder who would benefit more from Blue Chew. Would it be Andre the Gant or El Gante?
Yeah.
El Gante. That really
I love it so much.
Oh, God. We have a good time.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you guys being with us. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and tell your friends. Man, we're having fun over here every Monday night.
Yep, we
At
are.
patreon.com/WHW Monday. Tony's going to start doing shots. Maybe next week we'll have him make some margaritas here live on the show. Could we get a blender up there? That'd be fun.
Yeah, we could, but I don't drink, Conrad.
Yeah, I didn't say you had to drink alcohol. We could work it. You see, no one will know when they watch.
Yeah, they would. Then all of a sudden they would get on some 401 fuck sheet that I've been drinking while doing my show. I don't want to do that.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
We're hanging out with our friends. It's like bellying up to the bar.
Who's this kid that Martell is wrestling? It almost looks like the Patriots tights, and has a very Sam Houston look about the face. I don't know.
Let me find him here.
Okay. Whoever he is, Rick Martell's giving him some
Give him a little offense here. Yeah.
Yeah, he sure is giving him something. You know who we need to have on here with us?
Who's that?
Don Callis.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. Really would.
He's a fun dude.
Yeah. And he really knows the business too.
This is Mark Young. He's going to beat him with a Boston Crab in 7 minutes and 31 seconds.
Mark Young.
Let me see what I can find out about him over on cagematch.net.
Yeah, please do. That's something
He also wrestled as Mark Scarpa,
yeah,
Vince Young, Vincent Young, Mark Pyle, Todd Overbow. He's from Atlanta.
Okay.
He died at only 48 years old back in 2016.
Well, he's from Atlanta. He probably did some jobs for us, I would think.
He was trained by Stu Hart.
Oh, wow.
Wrestled for 7 years, starting in 86, finishing up in 1993.
Yep.
And he did some work for Mid-South.
Okay.
He did some stuff for All Japan.
Huh.
And the WWF, as you're seeing here, lots of WWF stuff.
Yeah. I just remember this kid for some reason.
Is it the tights you think you remember?
Yeah, at first the tights, and then I saw his face and I thought, wow.
Hey, you know what? You're right. You did see him. He was in you weren't there, but he was on the TBS show in 89.
Okay.
He's also at the Omni. He did some championship wrestling from Florida. He was in the Pacific Northwest. He was in Stampede.
Wow.
Stu Hart was his trainer. So, yeah, we learned a little bit about Mark Young today.
Yeah, and that's back in the day before there were 100 million independent promotions around. He got some work.
And he did.
Yeah, he went back in 89. Of course, as we know, the territories were just about done, probably done completely.
Hey man, I think we got to have a little talk about John Hamilton. I think he's been drinking a little too much, maybe.
Probably so. Yeah.
He's got a new question for you here, Tony. I'll just put it on the screen and let you take
is he looking for a job?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's what he's looking for.
Ask Tony who's got the bigger dong, Conrad or Tony. Okay, John. Night, John. Night. Put the kids to bed. Okay. All right. I got a friend of mine from Orangeburg, South Carolina that'll come beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? One of the toughest men I ever met in my life. Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
You pumped for that tonight, man? Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve Strickland. Fright Night Dynamite. I'm pumped for this. It's been hyped. It's been promoted. I'm such a big Swerve fan, such a big Shelton Benjamin fan. Just can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, I have a lot of time for Shelton Benjamin, not only as a wrestler, but as a human being. And
Sure.
God, he's legit. The word was always that, when it comes right down to it, Shelton Benjamin's probably the toughest guy in wrestling. I've heard that for years. And then after seeing him in the ring, I can see why they say that. Oh, man. And John Hamilton says that he knows Shelton, but John's drunk. So whatever John says, we are really not taking it to heart.
Maybe a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Coach Rosie really wants you to know that today's MVP's birthday. Tony.
Oh, very cool. Work with MVP and in MLW. Got to work with him here. Very cool. How about that? Happy
Tony,
birthday,
I'll have you
MVP.
know that Game 3 of the World Series is now in the books. The Dodgers have beaten the Yankees 4-2.
Oh, there you go. So don't think it's going to be a sweep, but it's going to be very tough for the Yankees to come back now. I mean, they would have to win 2 at home. Well, they have to sweep the Dodgers the rest of the way to win the World Series. All right, let's go back to the studios. And Gorilla Monsoon is there by himself because Bobby Heenan walked off the set.
Do you think Gorilla Monsoon would have been a oh my God. Now we go from the fake brother love to the real brother love.
Oh.
How did you think Bruce did as the brother love character?
I thought he was great. He was one of the more obnoxious guys around, wasn't he? I love you. You're just obnoxious, right?
Could that character have worked in WCW, do you think?
We would have given it a shot, sure. Yeah, I think it would have.
It would have worked in ECW for sure.
Yeah, us being quote unquote from the South. And Amy Vaughn's going to bed. She said good night to all of us.
Well, good night, Amy. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Amy. I hope you're sober, sweetie.
Unlike John Hamilton.
Unlike John Hamilton, yeah.
The wind.
Yeah.
John Hamilton wants to know how big your dong is, sweetie.
Yeah, that's right. John's drunk.
Who's got the bigger one? You're the dog. You're the family dog.
Okay. Night, John Hamilton. Go to bed.
Well, look at this cast of characters. This is like a series of action figures come to life. The Bushwhackers, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and Roddy Piper. I mean, I can't even imagine trying to explain this to someone. I mean, if you're not from America and you just turn on TV and you see this, how would you explain what we're seeing?
There's no way. These are athletes. This is a sporting event with a guy painted with his red face and a guy from obviously the Fiji Islands and these dummies walking around and the guy with a kilt.
It's crazy to think too that Jimmy Snuka for a long time was the top attraction there for Vince.
Yeah.
And then of course Hogan comes along and Snuka's still probably number 2.
Yeah.
But he's got to have a foil. He's got to have a top bad guy. And there he is, Roddy Piper. And there they are, so over. And as silly as it is, this hardcore blood and guts tag team becomes these lovable, laughable comedy characters. And as a kid, I was never into the Bushwhackers and always kind of found them, I don't know, they just weren't me at all. And I couldn't imagine anybody being a big fan. But as I talked to my buddy Cassio Kid, they were his favorite tag team as a kid. It blew me away.
And, let's give it to, I'm sure Vince and maybe Pat was involved in it. I don't know. Taking the sheep herders and making them these lovable characters, because I don't know. I haven't heard any interviews from Luke. I know Butch has passed away. I talked to Luke very briefly at maybe the last Starcast I went to. I'm not so sure. No, I tell you where I talked to him. I talked to him at in Philadelphia at WrestleCade or WrestleCon. I talked to him there. I don't know if those were their greatest days or not. It probably were, don't you think? Payoff wise,
yeah.
Money-wise, probably their best days ever.
No doubt.
Yeah. And it was.
I mean, everybody made more money here, right?
Yeah, sure. And just, I like that Snuka's trying to be very serious here. How can you be very serious with these guys doing what they're doing now? They just look at the eyes of Snuka. Oh Wow.
Tarzan. I mean, with the loincloth, he
Yeah.
looks like, the comic book Tarzan.
Yes, he
Then
does.
you got Roddy Piper with the crazy colorful shirt with the kilt, and then these camouflage hats that have been chewed up. I mean, what a
Yeah.
visual this is. This is so it's easy to understand, you don't have to we're hitting you over the head with it. We don't have to have mastered the art of nuance here to be in the loop on WWF programming.
They're tearing the shirt off of Piper by their teeth, by the way.
I love it. I love it. You would have done that to Tom Zink. We know that.
And now they're Piper. How do you keep a straight face with this? I would have freaking died, man.
They were all trying to pop each other.
Oh yeah, of course. And Brother Love doing a good job here without laughing.
I love they used to close it in like that. It felt like the end of a chapter of a movie or something.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of a movie, we just saw a lot of big sweaty man there. And it does feel like we should remind everybody that, hey, if your balls stink, maybe you need to give Mando a try. I personally love Mando, and I know you will too. It's good for your whole body. It's whole body deodorant, meaning it's safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, your balls, your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your butt cracks, your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was just being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's been clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando deodorant products are amazing, even the solid stick deodorant. It's formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it even starts. And now they've got a brand new spray deodorant. It's aluminum free and ideal for those hard to reach places. All the products are baking soda free and paraben free, and you can choose from a variety of fresh scents, things like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or even Pro Sport. It's been clinically proven to control odor more than just a shower with soap alone. You see, 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor is a 5 out of 10. But with Mando, the average grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. That's what you're looking for. 0 out of 10 on the grundle stank. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, and even free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That's like 40% off your starter pack when you use the code WHW at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. And Tony, this is the real deal. Mando is. I mean, I just want you to demonstrate to everybody. I know you use your Mando every day. If you don't mind, if you could take, your pointer finger and your middle finger and stick them between your asshole and your scrotum, and then just give us a big whiff and just tell us how we're doing.
Let's go back to the ring where.
Hang on. I've promised the sponsor that we're going to do that on the show. So I'm going to need you to take these 2 fingers, stick them between your asshole and your scrotum. So the taint area. And then I want you to just Mary Catherine Gallagher them right here, superstar.
Well, by the way, I ain't going to do it. All right. And
we promised that we're going to get it done.
Well, I do have 1 finger left for you, Conrad. Meanwhile, as you're talking about Mando, Brother Love came into the set and was knocked out by Roddy Piper.
Hey, you're trying to distract us. I got to finish the read. Stick your fingers up your ass. And
I ain't sticking my fingers up my ass.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
But no, I'm not. Go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead. Big boy.
I'm going to phone a friend. Silva, trick or treat. Thank you for joining us here. Make sure you're not muted. And then we want to go ahead and I need you to fulfill the obligation here to Mando. So take your finger, your pointer finger, and your middle finger.
Jesus, what a
sight.
sight.
Between your asshole and your scrotum. We'll call it the taint.
Okay.
And then I want you to just give us a good smell.
Okay.
That's how we're doing.
All right.
As you're doing this, Silva, when was the last time you used Mando? Was it about 72 hours ago?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's C, I believe. C. All right. Oh, he's licking his fingers, Tony.
I'm gonna say it's what bourbon. No.
Hold on.
Is that bourbon leather?
No, hold on. Cloverwood.
Okay, there it is. Check it out.
Thank you, Dave. See you. Take care.
Topmando.com.
All right.
Man, we go the extra mile for our sponsors here
Wow.
on the program.
Wow.
It's one of the best episodes we've ever done, Tony. Right now, we've got the Bolsheviks taking on Trent Knight and Reno
I'm
Rick.
telling you right now, when Silva first came, if you're watching with us here, you're watching with us here, not
At
listening.
WHWMonday.com.
Right. And when Silva first came on with that dumbass smile of his, that's a visual I'm not going to.
It's great, isn't it? We thought of that this afternoon, and I said, hey, man, I don't even think Shop Mando was on the docket this week. We'll just bonus him one. I got an idea. And he's like, oh, I'm in. But can I wear the sombrero? And I'm like, I wish you would wear the sombrero. A wife beater and a sombrero. That's AKA just a Monday night.
That's just a Monday night.
Dave Silva's household.
Well, we're just friends watching wrestling together.
That's what we do, baby. We hope
do.
you guys will join us if you haven't already. Go hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. WHWMonday.com. Or if you want to be a part of our live studio audience and get drunk with us like John Hamilton, that's patreon.com/WHW Monday.
Yeah, and sleep through half of it like, Coach Keith does. So do that. This looks like Mark Young again. Got me into these orange tights. Give me a time code because I was behind you a little bit. I don't know.
I'm at 58, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So we got the Bolsheviks taking on Trent Knight and Reno Riggins. Up next, we're going to see Mr. Perfect playing ping pong. How about that?
That's right. He bowled a 300. And give me a time code again. Sorry.
Sure. We got Nikolai tagging in at 58, 58, 59, 59 even, 5901, 5902, 5903, 5904.
Got it. And yes, sir.
Hey, so Mark Cyrus is with us, and he says, not as good as last week with that ad read of the century. We did have a lot of fun with me just doing the stupidest read of all time last week, but believe it or not, I actually got a couple of pieces of negative feedback about the ad read. It's like,
really?
How did you not get that was an Andy Kaufman bit?
Yeah. Well, you're going to get negative feedback, whatever you do. So you just got to, Hey, friends watching wrestling should be the new tagline, says Derek Zoo.
I'm fine with that.
Watching wrestling. Yeah. Absolutely. Look at this.
I love it. That's a great way to describe what happened when.
Yeah. Is Nikolai still with us? Is he still alive?
No, you killed him during COVID. What's wrong?
I killed him during COVID.
Yeah.
I go over his house and sneeze on him. Is that what I did?
Yeah. Actually, it was years before COVID. He died in 2018. Okay. I just rounded up for you.
Thank you.
He's 70 years old when he passed.
That's young. Maybe not young for wrestlers back in the day who took, traveled all the time and took bumps. And
look at Piper about to put his hand down Bruce's pants, trying to pop Bruce. Bruce has got to be about to crack up.
Yeah, I know.
I feel bad for Bruce because he's trying everything he can not to crack up.
Yeah. And as Sean told us, they did this thing live to tape, right?
Yes.
You didn't go back down and say, let's do it once again. You just rolled with it. Oh. Oh, great.
I bet Bruce Pritchard, when he gets back from his Mexican vacations, I bet he is that tan, even now in 2024.
So Bruce is on a Mexican vacation?
No, but he was not too terribly long ago.
Okay.
Remember I used to rent that house in Cabo back in the day? The same one every time? Well, I turned Bruce onto it, and his family's been now as many times as I have. They love it too. It's just an interesting house design where there's like no hallways. So like every room is like on the beach. It's cool.
Wow.
It's a bitch to get to, though. That's the only thing I don't think I'd like about owning property there is from where we live on this side of the country, Tony, it would take forever to get there.
Flying to LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
or Vegas, either one.
Right.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think we did it through Dallas. Yeah. So we went Huntsville to Dallas, Dallas to Cabo.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Perfect's going to be watching them play ping pong here. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
he's going to compete against some dude, and he's going to be talking shit about Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
And I think this is the first time we hear the Mr. Perfect theme song is in this vignette.
Okay. Which we won't be able to track, by the way.
No, because WWE does not want you to subscribe to Peacock. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They got your money and they don't care.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they got the smallest dude of all time. Man, what a cool look Mr. Perfect had. He looks like an 80s heel in a movie.
Yeah, he was good.
He looks like the guy who would beat up the Karate Kid. Man, this dude right here, he looks like the miniature Micro Machine guy.
Yeah, he does.
This is a wrestling show where we're watching ping pong.
Is it something?
When was the last time you saw a ping pong show?
I've never watched a ping pong show. I guess the most famous ping pong show would have been Forrest Gump playing ping pong, right?
Well, I don't know. I think there was a girl who could do a pretty cool trick.
Well, you would know something about that.
That's what I heard.
I have, though, seen highlights of ping pong on the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what they can do.
Hey, speaking of amazing, can I tell you that I had an amazing time at the Insane Clown Posse last week?
Okay, that's not something I thought I would hear tonight, but go ahead and explain that one to me.
JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, came to Birmingham last week. And immediately following the wrestling show was a concert with 3 opening acts and then the Insane Clown Posse in the main event as a headliner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was there for almost 5 hours and they were still going. So they overwhelmed people with value. But I was told it's the biggest crowd they've had in that venue since Lil Wayne. And the merch line was unlike something I've never seen. It wrapped around the building twice. Like the Insane Clown Posse are hugely successful, more than people realize. I had no idea.
Yeah, and that says a lot about where we are in the world today. But I say that, and in the same breath, I can tell you, I really like those kids.
They're super.
They're super nice guys.
And by the way, the JCW show was fun. Tony, here's what you'd love about this. It was in a nightclub, so like a music hall, if you will, and it's got a balcony. So the fans are like on top of you, which is awesome. It's only a 16-foot ring because it's tight quarters, but they had the stage set up on the stage, and it was lit nicely, and they had, everything you would want as far as the presentation goes. But they had like 8 matches, Tony, and it was 90 minutes.
Wow.
So the whole match, like it started at 7, the matches were over at 8:30. They were tearing the ring down, and the first act was doing their thing by 9. They had 3 bands. Insane Clown Posse started at 11, and their production was next level. It was crazy. It was like going to a Gallagher show. It was like going to a Guar show. It was cool.
When you're making money, you can afford to, put on a good show, more bells and whistles, so to speak.
You would appreciate it. You would appreciate the effort of the theater and the art, and there's a lot of attention to detail.
Good. Just like there was back at Prime Time Wrestling back 35 freaking years ago. Wow.
By the way, they're doing a big blow off tonight, I think, the Insane Clown Posse. So after you finish watching Friday Night Dynamite, check out Triller TV. I think there's a big ICP special for Halloween. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Insane Clown Posse and Halloween.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's what I'll do next year. Maybe next year I'll go as Violent J, and then I need some skinny dude to be my Shaggy 2-Dope. Now, the trouble is I don't have any skinny dudes. What do I do for a skinny?
Wait a second. Yeah, you do.
Who?
Clint.
He's not around.
He's not. Where is he?
I don't know. If you see him, let me know. I'm looking for him.
You haven't seen. When's the last time you saw Clint?
May of last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you really serious now?
I swear.
Would you piss him off or something? What happened?
No,
He just left.
just disappeared.
Did you put out a APB on him?
Kinda. He goes into hiding every now and again.
Okay.
This isn't unusual.
All right.
I just
Okay.
won't talk to him for 2 years and then he'll pop up.
Well, there you go. Stay mysterious, right?
I guess.
I didn't say Ray Mysterious. I said stay mysterious.
So I got to find a skinny dude. See,
Well, let's see.
that's tough.
Let's
Oh
see.
wait, I just got the office. Jamie could do it. I'll have Jamie be Shaggy too, dope.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, Megan's favorite lyric from Insane Clown Posse is "Dick Anus."
Dick Anus.
Yep.
Okay. That's Megan's favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey Tony, I know you love talking about fun stuff, and I know your favorite topic is what I'm about to ask about. But we're just days away from arguably the biggest election in United States history, certainly in mine and your lifetime. Go ahead and tell us who you're voting for and why.
Okay. I'm voting for. Wait a minute. I got it right here. I'm voting for Don't Give a Fuck.
That's what I needed.
Yeah. I hate to tell you that I'm going to be a terrible American this year, but I ain't voting.
Really?
Yeah. And kids, do not follow my suit. Do what you think is right in your mind, but I ain't voting. So there. And I'm not out here promoting not to vote. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just
we know it's important to vote.
it is, but I'm just not doing it. And I know what's going to happen on voting day. Lois going to say, "Let's go, let's vote," and I'm going to say no, and then she's going to get mad at me, and then I'm going to go, so I don't have to hear her for a month. You didn't vote. You should have voted. Should have voted the entire Republican ticket. And then I could say, well, I voted for all Democrats. And then I don't know if divorce would be good enough. I may get killed. So, but no, I'm not going to vote.
My parents voted today.
Yeah.
And my mom asked the lady at the polling place, "Hey, have y'all been busy? A lot of people have been voting." And the lady said, "People have been trying to vote since January."
Wow.
January.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
January. Here we go. Going to get a DDT action here. This is Tony Burton. Next up, we got Brother
Dave,
Love.
Would you put up Coach Keith Morrison's last message, please?
Coach Keith says, "Do you know my ancestors fought for you to vote? Sorry, talking to the wrong people."
Go to work. Get to work.
I love when Jake would get over and talk shit right into the camera, then pull the snake out of the bag.
Wow, can't do that today. Because I got to protect the fucking snakes.
Dude, look at that. Put his head in the bag with the snake. No, thank you.
Nope.
I'm just going to be honest. If that was me, I'd be freaking the fuck out. I don't know that I can do what that dude's doing right here.
I never will forget when we went to that show, right? Remember we went to the show?
Oh, yeah. North of Huntsville.
Yeah. That wrestling show. And that guy,
snake, yeah.
That guy came out with a snake. And I've never seen you frightened before, but you got up and moved out of the way quickly.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was like, I don't know. Because here's the thing, I don't know if that guy knew anything about that snake. You forget we're in the country.
Yeah,
he may have just found that motherfucker in a field earlier in the day.
Exactly. But of course, Dave Silva put the snake around his neck.
Now that looks like Rish right there.
Yeah.
I love how different his face is from his hands as far as skin tone.
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
Well, he talks so loud, his face gets red, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. We got it. Yeah.
By the way, the next match is kind of interesting to think about because it's months old. It's from Madison Square Garden.
Oh, cool.
April of 1989. It's Hercules versus Dino Bravo. But think about that. This is the end of October, and this match we're about to watch was filmed in April.
There's a good chance that I did that on MSN or MSG Network.
Well,
Yeah, there's a good because Lord Alfred and I did the commentary for.
I'm going to check in for just a second then.
Okay.
And if they strike us, then that's fine. We'll just send them a picture of our wiener.
Yeah. They're actually someone that sits and listens to our program. Really?
Yeah. They get paid.
Just sit.
WWE pays a law firm to listen to everything I produce.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not making that up.
So I'd like to send a message to whatever lawyer is listening to us right now.
Yep.
Get into real estate law or something. Holy smokes. Madison Square Garden was so freaking cool.
Top 5 most important arenas you've been in your life. MSG. What are the other 4?
MSG, as far as pro wrestling is concerned, Greensboro Coliseum for me personally. The Forum in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Would be another one. Let's see. I guess you want me to say the Omni.
I don't want you to say anything. Is it Boston Garden? Is it
Boston Garden? Absolutely.
Is it Wembley?
And Wembley. Good call.
All right. So Boston Garden, Wembley,
Madison Square Garden,
Madison Square Garden, Greensboro.
Greensboro Coliseum. Yeah.
Omni can fuck off.
Yeah, kind of.
Did you ever go to the Sportatorium?
Which one?
The one in Dallas.
I did not. No.
You went to one in Tampa though.
I was on the outside of the one in Tampa.
And you've been to Arena Mexico now, right?
I've not. No.
Have you been to the Tokyo Dome?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You went way back in the day on that one.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Arena Mexico is one of those, bucket list deals. Absolutely. It is.
Let's go to Triple Mania together next year.
When is it?
I don't know. Usually October.
Okay. Well, again, if it's not on a Saturday or
y'all had a taped show that weekend, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but here's the deal: on a tape show, I've still got a lot of work to do that weekend, so it's not like I got a weekend off. So,
well, they're gonna do Triple Mania on the weekend. They quit doing them on Thursdays.
Okay,
you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who do you think that old ass referee is?
I don't know, and don't motherfuck me again.
Well, I'm bored.
Yeah. Coach Key said, "What about the Philadelphia Spectrum?" I went to the Spectrum.
Spectrum.
WCW ran the Philadelphia that's the Spectrum. Spectrum. He ran, a Spectrum. It's the Philadelphia Spectrum. We ran the Spectrum a couple of times in WCW, or one time for sure. It was pretty cool being there. Yeah, it was cool.
Hey, you know what else is cool? Saving money at savewithconrad.com. Right now, Americans have more credit card debt than ever before. And I'm routinely talking to podcast listeners who feel stuck making the minimum payments. They're wondering, are they ever going to get out of debt? You see, not only is the interest that you're paying on your credit card ridiculously high, it's also not tax deductible. Whereas the interest you pay on your house, well, you can write that off. We've routinely helped our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, even $800 a month. They're not saving $800 one time. They're saving $800 a month. It's like giving yourself a raise for more than $10,000 a year. And the best part of doing this right now at savewithconrad.com, no house payments until next year. So if you haven't already, you don't have to make your November or your December payment. And come next year, you're going to have a cheaper monthly payment. So if you could get a lower rate and a greater tax deduction with a cheaper monthly payment and no payments until next year, it sounds too good to be true, but we can do it for you. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. So what are you waiting for? Get yourself a quick quote right now at savewithconrad.com. That's savewithconrad.com. Or go check out all of our 5-star reviews. We've got over 1,600 of them. Our average rating is 4.73 stars at conradreviews.com. Man, Hercules and Dino Bravo. If you were going to draft one of these guys to your roster, Tony, which would it be and why?
Repeat that again.
If you're going to pick one of these guys for your company,
yeah,
Dino or Hercules?
Yeah. I would pick Hercules.
Great.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So next week we're going to watch Ring of Honor. We had talked about watching CZW Tournament of Death 4 with Eddie Kingston, Nick Gage, Necro Butcher, Fire, Light Tubes, Thumbtacks, and Barbed Wire. But we're going to throw it to you guys, and we want to talk about Ring of Honor next week. We'll kick CZW down maybe closer to Thanksgiving so we can see when we're carving up Nick Gage like he was the turkey. But at least next week, Ring of Honor, drop your suggestions here, and we'll run a poll over on Twitter at WHW Monday. What shows would you like for Tony and I to review for Ring of Honor? The 4 that we get suggested the most, we'll throw up on a poll at WHW Monday. I'll get it started. The one I suggested is Steve Corino and Homicide in a barbed wire match. I think it's one of the more great and forgotten matches in Ring of Honor history. I'd love for Tony to see that.
I would too, so I could get in touch with Corino and say, hey, you really did know how to work. All I heard that you were a piece of shit. So there you go. Corino's a good guy. He's a big baseball Philadelphia Phillies fan.
Hell yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. So I have a lot of time for Steve Corino.
Well, I got to be honest. This is not the match I would have probably chosen to close the show with.
No.
This is dragging quite a bit here, Tony. It's hard for me to imagine that we've got like 17 more minutes here. My goodness.
Of this match. This is the last match on the show. Huh?
God dang.
Yeah. Test of strength. See, it'd have been big news if the Hitmen would have just come right in and killed Dino right now.
Oh, God. I
Would
love
it?
you so much.
Okay. Just shot him right there. It was,
Can you?
that was terrible to say. I'm just saying for a headline.
This is the greatest episode we've ever done, Tony. We'll never beat this.
No, listen.
What do you think his Halloween mask is? Oh, Jesus.
For his no, just for notoriety. I've often said that for headlines, for sheer headlines, the way I want to go is during the wrestling show. You know, welcome everyone to Collision.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
I mean, wouldn't that be a headline?
It would, but would you rather do that or be on top of Lois?
Please.
Just rather die on TV.
Yes.
So wait, I get to have sex with my wife or kill me on TV? Kill me. You didn't hesitate.
No, I want to die. I don't want to
sex with Lois, die on TV.
No,
I'm not doing anything Wednesday.
No. It's not like that. You don't want to die on top of your wife. Crying out loud. No, you don't want to do that's terrible. But dying on TV that's legendary shit right there, man.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I think we need some legendary shit to close the show. We got about 15 minutes left in the program.
Okay.
I say we go live to the suburbs of San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Where I believe we've got, I would call it a man on the street.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll call it a Mexican with tiny feet. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Silva.
Hola.
Well, so what's this character name, Dave? Well, you in a sombrero. Do we have a character name for this? Is there a persona here?
You can call me Papi Chulo.
Okay. Now, what does Papi Chulo mean?
Handsome daddy.
Handsome daddy. Okay. Handsome daddy, what was your favorite part of the program today?
Oh, there were many. The thought of Dino Bravo being shot in the ring.
Yeah. That's probably pretty good.
Shouting out Lois Bong was hilarious.
Yep.
Just having Sean on the show was a big deal.
And you got a little snack.
And I got a little snack. With my sack.
Cloverwoods.
Clovers. Who loves the clovers?
Listen, we've seen you
I can't even look at that son of a bitch. Dave should just do this freaking show. He's much more entertaining than me. No.
Tony Schiavone's down.
Tony, we need you for the end of the show.
You look like
You're going to do the end of the show.
he looks like if Hector Guerrero had diabetes.
Or the gout. It's Lasertron unmasked.
You know what's funny? Jim Ross calls him Bull Ramus, and he looks like him with that fucking sombrero. If Bull Ramus and Manny Fernandez had a baby.
Stop. Oh,
no.
He's the alchemist. What's that guy's name? Echeverria. He's Echeverria. The alchemist. I can't believe
Silva, I'm gonna need you in post to throw up some Halloween photos. We'll throw up me and Dre as the Dudley Boys.
I love it.
Everybody see that one. And then we'll throw up you and Cassio Kid as what was the name of that tag team again?
We were the Crock-Pot Express.
Yeah, and then we'll just throw up. Okay.
Then we'll just throw up. Actually, no, then the very best one, Yokozuna. I think that's probably your best one when you and your son were Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji.
That was awesome.
Absolutely fantastic. Do you have a Halloween costume plan for this week?
I just had
you know what? I was actually going to throw on my lucha sombrero, my lucha poncho, do my lucha mask, and go have my wife beat her and do the sombrero. And I was gonna go and do one of my replica belts, and I was gonna be a lucha champion.
I love it.
Can I interject something here? If you've seen on social media, Dave with his family, he has such a beautiful family.
Yes.
Yes, he has a beautiful wife, beautiful children, and then there's this guy.
And then there's this.
Catch me on Collision every Saturday night.
He's Hologram's new base.
Hologram.
Beast Mortis with diabetes. Oh my God! If the arm ain't slapping, the food ain't. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Holy shit! Oh my God!
Good times, guys. This has been a fantastic show. We're already 2 hours and 20 minutes into it. Can you believe it?
Yeah, we're regretting that we spent so much time with Sean Mooney. Now he was great, but we should have started the playback before because this is a little trick or treat, and we got tricked into watching a 20-minute Dino Bravo.
Yeah, how about that?
It's like a dark side.
Ever tell you that
the dark side is us having to watch it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dino was in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. He and Mr. Wrestling were World Tag Team Champions, beat the Andersons right on TV. One of the great moments of me growing up watching wrestling. But he didn't have blonde hair. He had dark hair at that time.
Tony, let's see what this does. When I play that sound, Silva, what do you think of?
That was the sound I was hearing when I was reaching under my taint.
Oh, all right.
A lot of crickets down there.
And Tony, when I press that, what do you think of?
The sound that I hear right when I drop dead on TV.
Oh, wow. Okay. So your turn. When you hear this noise, you always think about.
That's when my balls hit the water in the toilet.
Right. Schiavone, your turn. Here we go. Whenever you hear this noise, what do you think of?
Me working at Starbucks.
All right. Happy Halloween on that. Tony, if you show up to Dynamite tonight in your Starbucks uniform, that is a great fucking costume.
That would be a great costume, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That would be.
All right, Silva, let me know what you think about this one. What do you think of when you hear...
That's the crowd going wild at my debut on this week's Dark.
All right, there you go. Tony, you're up next with...
First sound that came to mind when I saw Dave Silva's face today.
Oh. Okay, Dave. Last one for you.
Stop the music. Stop the music. Set him down.
Oh. Dude, this is the best episode we've ever done.
Stop the music. Meanwhile, let's go back to the ring. Dino Bravo and Hercules. A bear hug, Conrad, your favorite.
Get that lighter out, Tony. Get in the encore. Yeah, it's Spanish DeVito. There he goes. Oh. Bravo, Mr. Silva. Bravo. My goodness.
Once again, take a look at that beautiful family of his and think, he cannot be the father. That beautiful woman could not have married him.
Papi chulo.
Here we go, Tony. Last one. This one's all you.
The wrestling world when they found out I signed with AEW.
Well, that was fun. Well, thank
That
you.
was fun.
Fellas.
Yeah.
You never know what buttons we'll just randomly press. You got any sound effects on your side, Tony?
I hate to do this, but here we go.
On hood.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else. And that's enough. Sit down, Dave. For God's sake.
Oh, God. WHWMonday.com, man, where we'll even make a Dino Bravo match entertaining.
Yeah, we will.
I got to tell you, I like these Monday night recordings. I say, fuck Tuesday mornings. Monday nights is the way to do it.
Jeff Jarrett came to me. He said, "Hey, I hear you guys are having fun doing it at night." I said, "Yes, we are." He said, "Man, that sounds great. We're kind of maybe." I said, "Make a decision in your life, or do I have to ask Karen to make decisions for you?"
I love you for that.
Jesus, criminy. There goes Dave. Dave, we're going to bring back Dave to do the end of the show for us because I don't know if I got the voice for it.
Well, what's left for him to do besides spread his butt cheeks? Is that what we're going to do? Is that the big finish? Maybe he's got a jack-o'-lantern up there. If Silva could shit a jack-o'-lantern, what do you think the design would be?
Okay. I just saw on the subtitles, somebody said Alfred, so I'm sure I'm doing that with Alfred. So
Oh, yeah. Well, here you go. 3, 2.
Finds himself in the position.
Yep. She.
that's me. Yeah. How about that?
If we get a cease and desist for that, I'm going to post it on social.
Yeah. Because what we're actually doing, just to let everybody know, we are showing a match that no one wants to see.
No.
And that should be worth something.
Yes. Well said.
So there.
Well said. Man, this is fun. You know, the next up, the next thing we're going to see is the rundown of the Survivor Series showdown. You know, in this era, before you would do the pay-per-view, you'd have like a TV special.
Right.
Just to help push the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
So on that show, we'll see Tito Santana versus Big Boss Man, Hercules versus Macho King, Ultimate Warrior versus Tully Blanchard, and Gorilla Monsoon on the match says something like, "So long, Tully, curtains for him."
Wow.
That's his finish. And of course, it's Butch Reed and Mr. Perfect, Smash, and Ted DiBiase. That was all a part of the Survivor Series showdown. So those plugs are still yet to come. But it's so fascinating to think, you know, that Tully Blanchard and the Ultimate Warrior don't even feel like that's the same era for me.
Oh no, right.
But it is. And Warrior still had so much more to give. I think I would have thought 8 years later, well, Blanchard's still in the business, not Warrior.
Right.
But like Tully Blanchard in 1998 WCW, can you imagine how great that would have been when the NWO's getting hot and he's a part of the Horsemen?
Yep.
Flair and Arn and Tully and whoever, Brian
Right.
Pillman or whatever.
Right.
That would
Sure.
badass.
Sure would have been. Lex Luger, right?
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, right.
I think tonight, as folks are listening to this, I might watch Halloween Havoc 96 just to relive some of the good old days. I was talking to Eric Bischoff in the last year or so, and we identified that show is the happiest, most fun he ever had in WCW, Halloween Havoc 96. Just when he felt like, hey, we made it, we got momentum, I've accomplished it, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm thrilled with my life. This is going according to plan. It was Halloween Havoc 96.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And to be very honest with you, I can't remember that much about it, with the exception of, I believe, wasn't that sponsored by Slim Jims?
It was, and that's the one where it was Hogan versus Savage, and Savage took the hairpiece off of Hogan and put it on himself, and then afterwards Piper came out.
Yeah. That was Piper's first appearance with us.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I think that may also be Arn Anderson's last match.
Okay.
It was against Lex Luger, and I know that Ric Flair was supposed to wrestle the Giant, but Jeff Jarrett stepped in instead.
Uh-huh.
And Jeff's pre-match promo was something like, "Giant, you may whoop my ass, but you will not choke slam me." Oh no. And I don't know why, but it tickled me so much.
Yeah.
The Harlem Heat are going to drop the tag titles to the Outsiders. I think Rey Mysterio wins the Cruiserweight title from Dean Malenko.
Wow.
It's a badass card, man.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Full of stars and great wrestling. You can't beat that, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to tell you, I've had so much fun with this. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Monday night. I know we're trying some different stuff, and I hope you'll join us. I love what Derek Zoo suggested earlier. Just friends watching wrestling. That's what this is all about, and we're glad that you're our wrestling friend. I hope if you're listening to us on Wednesday, you'll watch Fright Night Dynamite tonight. Whether you've watched AEW recently or not, I would recommend this show. Shelton Benjamin has been one of the more underrated performers of the last 20 years. And to have a big-time primetime match like this is a big opportunity for a legendary talent. And I think they're going to exceed expectations tonight. So I would encourage you, go out of your way, even if you're not a normal, usual AEW viewer, don't miss Shelton Benjamin and Swerve Strickland. If I had to guess, it's going to be a pretty damn special match, Tony.
Yeah, it is going to be a great match. Two great performers, and I'm looking forward to be a part of that, calling that. So it should be great. And of course, we are going to be in Cleveland for Fright Night Dynamite. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Tickets still on sale. There's a handful left at AEWTIX.com. That's AEWTIX.com. And I hope you guys have a safe and happy Halloween. I know that this is a fun time for moms and dads, and certainly kids all over the country. And I hope everybody has a safe and happy Halloween. But right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
And with that in mind, let's kick it over once again to San Antonio, Texas, to take us out. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Dave Silva.
That's right, Conrad and Tony, we're out of time. And coming to the ring, it's Tony Schiavone with a gun. Oh my gosh, Tony, put down the gun. It's not worth it, Tony. Not this way. Not this way.
What is he doing with Dino?
Oh my God.
Stop it.
Stop it already. We're
Dave.
desperately out of time.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Right here.
Right here on What Happened When.
You got it, Dave. When do we come? Wednesdays, where are we? Do you listen to the
Westwood One?
Yes, but Mondays.
Oh, on Mondays, we come to you at patreon.com WHW Monday.
Fuck it. See y'all next week right here on What Happened When.
You did it, Dave.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-Free Shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.